The clock struck midnight as Emma sat alone by the window, clutching a worn envelope. She hesitated, fingers trembling, then unfolded the brittle paper inside. "If you're reading this," the letter began, "it means I never made it back." Her heart pounded. It was her brother, Alex, lost at sea months ago. He wrote of regrets, dreams, and a secret he had kept about their childhood. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but she kept reading, drawn into his words. "I've hidden something in the old oak tree by the river. Look there for me." Determined, she wrapped her coat around her and stepped into the cold night. The riverbank was quiet, bathed in silver moonlight, the oak tree standing tall. She searched the rough bark, feeling around until her fingers found a small, carved box. Inside, a collection of photographs, and a note declaring his unwavering love for their family. "I wanted you to know, even if I can't be there," the note reads softly. Emma clutched the box to her chest, feeling both pain and comfort mingling. She whispered, "Alex, I miss you. But now, I have a part of you to hold on to." As dawn approached, Emma sat beneath the oak tree, the weight in her heart beginning to lift. The letter had given her closure she never thought possible, a final connection. Slowly, she smiled through tears, ready to face the days ahead with newfound strength. "Goodbye for now," she murmured, "and thank you for the memories." The sun rose, casting warm light over the river, a new day beginning for Emma. She stood, carrying her brother's love with her, finally at peace. It started with a faint tapping sound coming from the attic above Mia's bedroom. Every night, just as the clock struck midnight, the tapping would begin, slow and deliberate. Mia tried to ignore it, blaming old house noises and her restless imagination. But the tapping grew louder, more persistent, turning into a rhythmic knocking that could not be ignored. One night, curiosity won over fear. She crept upstairs, flashlight trembling in her hand. The attic stairs creaked under her weight, a long, narrow space filled with dusty old boxes. Then she heard it, a whisper, soft and urgent, brushing against her ear like a cold breath. "Help me," it hissed, a voice barely louder than the wind. Mia's heart pounded. "Who's there?" she whispered back, her voice shaking. Silence answered before the whisper returned, trapped, alone. Searching through the boxes, Mia found an old journal, its pages yellowed and torn. The diary belonged to a girl named Lucy, who once lived in the house decades ago. Lucy wrote about a terrible secret, about being locked in the attic by someone she once trusted. Suddenly, the attic door slammed shut behind Mia, plunging her into darkness. Desperately, she opened the journal to the last page, a chilling plea to anyone who found it. "Set me free," Lucy's words begged, "before it's too late." With shaky hands, Mia looked up and spotted an old latch on the window, half covered by cobwebs. She forced it open, letting in a gust of fresh, cold air that seemed to lift the oppressive weight around her. The tapping stopped, the whispers faded, light filled the attic once more. Mia whispered, "You're free now," and as dawn broke, the house seemed at peace for the first time in years. At the first light of dawn, Leora wakes clutching her silver leaf pendant tightly, the symbol a small comfort amidst the unease settling over the village. Outside, the ancient forest stretches silently, its shadows long and mysterious under the pale morning sky. As Leora walks through the village, she notices worried faces exchanging nervous glances. The fading light and wilting crops weigh heavily on everyone's spirits, hinting at a deeper, unseen affliction creeping through the land. Near the village's edge, Theron hunches over his forge, the heat and smoke mixing with the morning air. His soot-streaked hands carefully sharpen tools, eyes steady and calm despite the unsettling changes they all face. Leora approaches Theron, holding out a broken shard of a prism glowing faintly green, its fractured edges catching the light erratically. She hopes he can decipher its origin, sensing it may hold the key to their village's plight. Theron examines the shard, his brow furrowing as he recognizes the ancient symbols etched into its surface. They are the same carvings he's seen in the worn stones of the forest temple ruins, linking the mysterious object to a place steeped in forgotten power. In the village square, the community gathers with growing anxiety as the flowers around them lose their vibrant hues and the sunlight dims unevenly each passing day. Whispered fears spread like wildfire, the natural world turning against them in subtle but ominous ways. Leora recalls the old tales of the Prism of Verdant Grove, a mystical artifact believed to sustain the life and color of their land. Now fractured, It seems the very heart of their forest and village is faltering. Determined, she resolves to venture into the ancient forest, seeking the temple to reunite the prism's scattered shards. The weight of hope rests heavily on her shoulders as she prepares to face unknown dangers. Before she departs, Theron presents her with a finely forged knife, the metal gleaming and sharp. He warns her of the forest's lurking perils and pledges his support should she need it. Stepping beneath towering trees, Leora watches the dappled sunlight flicker with an eerie inconsistency, as though the forest itself breathes and shifts with secret magic. She grips her silver leaf pendant for reassurance as she moves deeper into the woods. Strange insects emitting glowing hues flutter around her, their movements guiding her toward an ancient moss-covered path inscribed with runes. The path seems alive, whispering of forgotten enchantments and hidden dangers. As she nears the temple ruins, shadows twist and shift unnaturally, hinting at unseen watchers lurking just beyond the edges of her vision. A chill runs down her spine, the forest's magic growing more intense and unpredictable. Suddenly, Elendra emerges from the shadows, her gray eyes piercing and her blue tattoos glowing faintly in the dim light. She warns Leora that sinister forces seek to block the prism's restoration, their intentions dark and relentless. Elendra reveals herself as a guardian marked by ancient power, her glowing tattoos a symbol of her sacred duty. She offers cryptic guidance, urging caution and resolve in the trials to come. Leora steels herself, her grip tightening on her pendant as she vows to collect all the prism fragments before the encroaching darkness extinguishes the land's magic completely. Her determination shines through despite the overwhelming odds. At the temple's altar, Leora discovers the first major shard embedded within, pulsating with a gentle, soft light that hints at its lingering vitality. Its fractured surface gleams, promising both hope and challenge. When Leora touches the shard, a sudden burst of vibrant color spreads across the clearing, briefly reviving the wilted flowers around her. The momentary revival fills her with cautious optimism that restoration is possible. Without warning, dark roots surge violently from the earth, twisting and lashing like serpents as they attempt to ensnare her in magical vines. The forest itself seems to resist her quest, its ancient magic turning hostile. Leora narrowly escapes the grasp of the tendrils by slicing through them with her knife, but in the struggle, the shard slips from her grasp and its light dims once more. The fleeting hope flickers, reminding her of the delicate balance she must maintain. Deeper within the temple, Leora uncovers ancient murals depicting the prism's power and a shadowy figure breaking it apart. The imagery warns of a malevolent force determined to shatter the land's lifeblood. Unexpectedly, Theron appears, having tracked her trail through the treacherous forest. His presence offers much-needed strength and companionship in a place so laden with peril. Together, they navigate traps forged from shifting light and shadow, their hands clasped tightly, the silver leaf pendant between them glowing softly with a reassuring light. Their unity becomes their greatest defense against the temple's enchantments. They arrive at a chamber where a large shard hovers, partitioned and imprisoned within a glowing cage of shimmering energy. The air vibrates with powerful magic that resists their approach. Elendra returns to warn them that to claim this shard, they must face their deepest fears, illusions conjured by the prism's protective magic. The challenge is as much of the mind as it is of the body, testing their inner strength. Leora confronts a vivid vision of her village withering away and her silver leaf pendant crumbling into dust, a haunting test of her resolve and hope. The fear threatens to overwhelm her, but her determination to save her home pushes her forward despite the torment. With Theron's calm encouragement, Leora summons her resolve, pushing through the harrowing vision. The spectral cage shimmers and cracks, finally shattering to release the glowing shard. The silver leaf pendant on her chest pulses softly, a reassuring beacon of hope. She carefully positions the new shard beside the first, their edges fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. Light bursts forth, the forest responding instantly, roots curl back gently while blossoms burst open in radiant colors. The prism's fractured light seems to pulse with new energy, weaving through the ancient trees. Suddenly, a low rumble shakes the temple's structure, dust falling from stone carvings etched with ancient forest symbols. Unseen forces awaken, reacting unpredictably to the partial restoration of the prism. The air around them thickens with shimmering light and shadow intertwining. Outside, the sky darkens as a swirling storm of Inkai black energy coils above the land. The sun is swallowed by roiling clouds, halting the forest's revival in an instant. A chill freezes the air, leaves shriveling even as flowers remain poised to bloom. Realizing time slips through their fingers, Leora and Theron steel themselves to retrieve the remaining shards before darkness claims the entire grove. Each moment the storm grows stronger, blotting out natural light that once guided them. Their determination burns as brightly as the silver pendant at Leora's throat. Following cryptic clues left by Elendra, the trio ventures deeper into the forest. At last, they find a hidden glade, a serene clearing where ancient trees rise tall and proud. There, beneath one venerable tree, the third shard lies buried beneath a carpet of moss and roots. The glowing symbols etched into the tree's bark mirror those found on temple stones, faint blue light swirling around them. Leora's silver leaf pendant flares warmly in response, as if connecting to the ancient magic. The shard's refracted light dances across the bark's intricate patterns. As Leora reaches out, spectral wolves materialize between her and the shard, their eyes blazing with ethereal fire. Low growls ripple through the clearing, their presence a chilling warning. The silver pendant remains visible, a steady pulse amidst growing tension. Theron steps forward swiftly, hefting his crafted weapons with practiced ease. The clash is swift but intense, his strength and precision keeping the wolves at bay without harm. Colored light flickers around their struggle, the magical energy tangible in the air. With the final strike, the spectral wolves dissolve into wisps of blue light, their menace ebbing away. In their place, faint luminescent paw prints glow briefly on the earth before fading. The shard is now safely in their grasp, radiating a renewed shimmer beneath Leora's pendant. The trio hastens back toward the temple, urgency propelling their steps as the storm outside intensifies. Lightning crackles unpredictably, painting jagged shadows against twisted branches. The forest's renewed life struggles against the encroaching darkness closing in rapidly. Elendra begins chanting ancient words, her glowing blue tattoos blazing fiercely along her arms and face. A shimmering barrier of light and color spins around them, rippling against the storm's assaults. Despite her effort, the tempest's wrath grows relentless. Suddenly, the protective spell falters. A jagged surge of black lightning strikes the earth nearby. The ground splits open with a roaring crack, jagged edges glowing with erratic colors like fractured glass. The trio is thrown off balance by the violent upheaval underfoot. In an agonizing instant, Leora tumbles into the glowing chasm, her silver leaf pendant the last visible trace as it flickers faintly. Prism shards scatter deeper into the twisting, luminescent tunnels below. The forest's fate now hangs precariously with her survival. Theron and Elendra gaze down in horror, their voices lost in the storm's howling wind. The pendant's faint gleam fades slowly into the shadows, a fragile thread tethering her to the surface world. Fear and determination etch their faces as they prepare to follow her plunge. Within the glowing chasm, Leora moves cautiously through erratic passages alive with fractured light. The colors shift unpredictably, disorienting yet mesmerizing as they refract through countless crystal surfaces. Her pendant remains a steady source of calm in the surreal depths. She finds scattered shards embedded in the crystalline walls, each fragment radiating a shard of the forest's lost warmth. As she collects them, patches of vibrant color pulse through the tunnels, slowly pushing back the surrounding darkness. Hope glimmers in the depths below the shattered earth. Suddenly, a wraith of shifting shadows blocks her path, formed from the chasm's darkest fears. Its form writhes with malice, bent on capturing the prism's power for itself. The silver leaf pendant flares with defiant light, casting away creeping darkness momentarily. Summoning all her courage, Leora channels the pendant's radiant glow to repel the wraith. The dark entity wavers, then dissipates into flickering shadows spiraling away. The fragments gathered in her hands shimmer brighter, empowering her resolve to escape. Breaking through to the surface, Leora reunites with Theron and Elendra, her hands clutching all the recovered shards. The storm above still looms, its dark tendrils writhing around the trembling forest. Yet their combined presence offers a fragile beacon of resistance. They race toward the temple altar, urgency sharpening every step, knowing full restoration is their last hope. The shards begin to levitate and spin, slow and deliberate, aligning in a precise pattern atop the stone platform. Colored light cascades from their joined edges, painting the walls in shimmering hues. As the shards circle each other, prismatic light fractures and cascades like a waterfall, filling the chamber with radiant glow. Ancient forest symbols etched into stone and wood catch the light, pulsing in time with the prism's rhythms. The silver leaf pendant glows steadily at Leora's throat, syncing with the spectacle. Suddenly, dark storm clouds coil tighter around the temple, tendrils of shadow pressing inward. The vibrant light from the prism flickers as if struggling for breath. The encroaching darkness threatens to snuff out this fragile beacon of life and magic. Elendra channels her dwindling strength into a surge of protective magic, her blue tattoos dimming from fierce glow to faint ember. With an anguished cry, she weakens the storm's grip momentarily, buying precious seconds. Her sacrifice leaves the aura around them shimmering with bittersweet intensity. In the heart of the swirl, Leora places her silver leaf pendant at the prism's center. Her unwavering faith ignites a brilliant pulse of life and color that floods the temple. The prisms blaze with radiant light, weaving hope through the forest's struggling veins. The fractured prism, held aloft by Leora, began to glow with intensifying light as the jagged edges shimmered with every hue. Suddenly, the shards flew together in a dazzling spectacle, weaving back into a flawless whole. As the last piece clicked into place, the storm above quelled, and warm sunlight flooded the verdant grove once more. Gradually, the once bare trees burst forth with lush greenery, their leaves whispering in newfound life. Flowers of every color bloomed vibrantly, filling the air with sweet scents, while the forest echoed again with the joyous calls of returning animals. Nature's healing was visible and undeniable, celebrating the suspension of chaos. Elendra stood nearby, a faint smile curving her lips as her glowing blue tattoos dimmed, her strength slowly ebbing. Though her power waned, peace radiated from her presence, a testament to the restored balance between magic and the natural world. The ancient symbols etched along her robe seemed to pulse softly, syncing with the harmonized forest. Theron embraced Leora firmly, soot-streaked hands steady and warm, pride and relief shining in his eyes. Around them, the village showed signs of vibrant renewal, the air full of hope as lives once again thrived. Their shared sigh marked a turning point, the darkest days giving way to flourishing vitality. The silver leaf pendant resting against Leora's heart glowed softly, emitting a gentle green luminescence that intertwined with the natural light. This subtle beacon symbolized the ongoing healing and the unbreakable connection forged through hope and perseverance. It reminded them all that, while trials had passed, the journey of restoration continued. Returning to her village, Leora was greeted by scenes of celebration beneath skies washed in vivid hues. Villagers danced amidst blossoming harvest fields, their faces alight with gratitude and renewed spirit. The air was thick with song and laughter, an ode to recovery and the promise of continued prosperity. In the quiet moments, Leora recounted her perilous journey to attentive ears, her pendant radiant in the soft glow of evening light. The prism shards were now carefully encased within the village hall, displayed as solemn reminders of what had been overcome. Each piece reflected the natural light subtly, symbolizing strength through unity and memory. As night fell, the silver leaf pendant around Leora's neck shimmered faintly, casting soft green patterns that mingled with the silver stars overhead. The calm forest around her seemed to breathe gently, alive with peaceful energy and quiet magic. Within this tranquility, hope glimmered, persistent as the stars above. New seedlings sprouted tenderly around the ancient temple, their vibrant leaves whispering promises of growth and resilience. These living symbols echoed the ancient forest markings, blending old magic with fresh life. Inspired by their shared ordeal, the village embraced this continuous cycle of renewal with reverence and care. The story closed with Leora standing on a gentle hill, her emerald eyes fixed toward the distant horizon. The silver leaf pendant pulsed faintly at her chest, a quiet promise of hope and connection as dawn painted the sky. She stood ready, heart steady, awaiting the new wonders and challenges the future might bring. At 2:45 a.m., Harper's room flickered with the blue glow of a single screen, desperately scanning through static lines of indecipherable code. For weeks, strange signals had burrowed into her radio's frequency, a series of cryptic pulses that no one else seemed to notice. Tonight, armed with her laptop and a hastily brewed coffee, Harper vowed to decode whatever mystery hid in the noise. The pulses formed patterns, eerily resembling a desperate SOS, but distorted beyond easy recognition. Her fingers danced across the keyboard, piecing fragments of signal into tentative words, phrases, and then something alarming. There was a location embedded deep within the code, coordinates near the abandoned lighthouse on the outskirts of town. Something about the message screamed urgency. Harper's heartbeat quickened as she debated whether to tell anyone. Instinct pushed her out the door, the night air biting but thrilling as she cycled toward the lighthouse, the signal growing stronger. The lighthouse stood solemn against the dark sky, its once bright beam shattered and silent. Inside, dusty shadows clung to peeling walls. The source of the signal seemed to be a broken radio transmitter, humming faintly. Suddenly, a sharp noise, a metallic clang echoed behind her. Harper spun, heart pounding, eyes searching the darkness. From the shadows emerged a thin figure, pale and wild-eyed, muttering about being trapped and unheard for years. Harper realized the radio wasn't just a relic. It was a lifeline for someone lost in isolation, sending signals desperate to be found. "You heard me," the stranger whispered, relief flooding his voice as he clutched Harper's hand. Together, they powered up the transmitter fully, sending a clear SOS into the night, summoning the rescue that had eluded him all this time. Sirens wailed in the distance as Harper stayed by his side, watching the first lights of dawn break over the horizon. The mystery signal had been a cry for help, and now, silence was replaced by hope and safety. Back at her desk, Harper smiled. The static finally resolved into a story of survival and human connection. She leaned back as the morning light filled her room, the screen dark now but her heart still racing. Sometimes, she mused aloud, the faintest signal carries the loudest message. At midnight, beneath a heavy, shrouded fog, Emma crept into the old mansion at the edge of town. With only her flashlight piercing the darkness, she moved cautiously through the creaking halls. Soft murmurs seemed to drift from the cracked walls, barely audible yet unmistakably human. Emma froze, heart pounding as a voice whispered, "Help me," from the shadows. Determined not to flee, she followed the voice, each step echoing ominously. The hallway twisted unnaturally, doors appearing where none were before, leading deeper inside. She reached a room bathed in an eerie, pulsating glow, the source unseen. Inside, the voice grew clearer, pleading, "Find the locket, set me free." Emma's eyes caught a glint beneath the shattered floorboards, a delicate silver locket. As she lifted it, the temperature dropped. A cold presence filled the air around her. Shadows coalesced into a pale figure trapped behind the walls, eyes begging for release. Emma whispered, "I have it," sliding the locket onto the ghostly form's neck. Light burst forth, the walls trembling as the spirit smiled and began to fade. "Thank you," came the last faint whisper, before silence reclaimed the room. The mansion's oppressive weight lifted. The air grew warm, the whispers ceased. Emma stepped outside as dawn's first light touched the horizon, the curse broken. Behind her, the mansion seemed less menacing, almost at peace for the first time in decades. She promised herself to remember the trapped soul and the power of courage in darkness. As she walked away, a final gust of wind carried a soft murmur, "Never forget." Emma smiled, turning back once more to the now quiet house, fading into the morning mist. The static on the radio crackled louder than usual, slicing through the midnight silence. Mara's fingers trembled as she adjusted the dial, searching desperately for a clear frequency. "Come in, Delta 7, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the interference. Suddenly, a faint voice emerged, distorted but unmistakable. "Code broken, seek the shadow before it's too late." The line went dead. She stared at the radio, heart pounding, breath ragged. Outside, the city slept, unaware of the storm creeping closer beneath its quiet surface. Mara grabbed her coat and slipped into the night, following the whisper of the message. She moved quickly down deserted streets, eyes darting for any sign of movement. Around the corner, a shadow detached itself from the darkness and approached silently. "You shouldn't be here," the figure warned, voice low and urgent. Mara squared her shoulders. "I need to stop what's coming. Help me." The figure hesitated, then handed her a small, encrypted device. "This holds the key. Find the truth before they shut it down for good. With no time to waste, Mara felt a surge of determination. Every step brought her closer to unraveling the mystery buried under layers of lies. She reached the hidden control room, lights flickering ominously as she entered. Connecting the device, the screens lit up with invaluable data just as alarms blared. "Got it," she muttered. "Now to escape before they find me." Bursting into the cold night air, Mara vanished into the shadows, clutching the last hope for truth. The console blinked to life in the silent command room, a single message flashing on the screen. Captain Arya leaned forward, reading the coordinates aloud. An unknown signal from the edge of Xylon 9. Without hesitation, she ordered the ship to change course, curiosity outweighing caution. The crew scrambled, boots echoing as the cargo bay doors sealed behind them. Hours later, the starship approached a derelict vessel, its hull scarred by cosmic storms. No signs of life, the sensors reported, but the signal persisted. A faint, rhythmic pulse. Arya donned her suit and stepped into the airlock, heart pounding with each breath. The door creaked open, revealing a control room frozen in time, dust particles dancing in the beam of her flashlight. Her fingers traced the console, then paused as the signal intensified, syncing with a mysterious device. Suddenly, static cleared, a voice whispered, "Help," a plea lost for decades. Determined, Arya tapped into the ship's systems, rerouting power to the ancient transmitter. The vessel hummed alive. Star charts and messages flooded her screen, lost knowledge waiting to be shared. "We've found a treasure trove," she told her crew, her voice trembling with awe. They worked together to decode the data, piecing together the story of a forgotten colonization attempt. Weeks later, the crew broadcast the discovered information back to the galaxy, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness. Arya watched as the message dispersed, knowing their discovery would rewrite history. Back on the bridge, she smiled softly. Sometimes, the past finds you when you least expect it. The derelict ship faded behind them, no longer lost, but remembered. The signal ceased, but its legacy had only just begun to echo through the stars. And in the quiet hum of the starship, new adventures awaited, guided by the light of old transmissions. The silent hum of the abandoned space station was broken by a single, unexpected ping on the outdated console. Captain Alara, the last crew member, stared in disbelief as the screen flickered to life with a strange, undecipherable frequency. "This can't be right," she muttered, her fingers trembling as she tried to trace the origin of the signal. Outside the viewport, distant stars twinkled coldly, indifferent to the lonely outpost's mystery. Determined, Alara adjusted the receiver, isolating the pattern embedded within the noise, an encrypted message. Her breath caught when the message resolved into words, chilling and clear. "Help us. Repeat, help us." Memories flashed back, the doomed crew that vanished decades ago, whispers of an experiment gone wrong. With renewed purpose, she initiated the station's ancient transmission array, aiming to send a rescue beacon. As the signal soared into the void, the station's systems flickered, awakening something deep within its core. Suddenly, the lights revealed a hidden chamber, untouched by time, illuminated by pulsating alien technology. Ilara stepped inside, her heart pounding as mechanical limbs extended from the walls, assembling a strange device. A message and a cure, she realized, left behind by those who never returned. She connected the device to the mainframe, watching as data streamed in, revealing a way to reverse the catastrophe. Time was short. The station's instability grew, threatening to tear it apart. Working quickly, Ilara uploaded the cure to the distress signal, transforming it into a beacon of salvation. The console beeped erratically, then fell silent as the station stabilized. The unseen threat dissipated. Outside, rescue ships appeared on the horizon, answering the beacon's new call. As the doors desynchronized and opened, Ilara stepped toward the arriving crew, hope rekindled. "Echoes of the past saved us," she whispered, "and now we bring them home." The space station, no longer a tomb, but a testament to perseverance, as new beginnings unfolded beneath distant stars. At the stroke of midnight, Emma heard a soft knock on her apartment door. Curious and cautious, she approached slowly, peeking through the peephole. There was no one there, but a cold breeze whispered through the hallway. Suddenly, a shadow flickered in the corner of her eye near the staircase. Emma blinked, and a translucent figure of a young woman appeared, shimmering faintly. "Don't be afraid," the spirit whispered, voice like the wind through autumn leaves. Emma's heart pounded, but she found herself nodding, unable to look away. "I'm called Leela," the apparition said. "I need your help to find peace." Leela explained she was trapped between worlds, bound by a forgotten promise. Emma felt an unexpected warmth, despite the ghostly chill around her. "What promise?" Emma asked, determined to uncover the truth. Leela told her about a lost locket buried beneath the old oak tree in the park nearby. Without hesitation, Emma grabbed her coat and followed the spirit into the night. Under the silver moonlight, they reached the gnarled tree, roots tangled like secrets. Emma dug through the cool earth, fingers brushing against metal, a delicate locket. As she lifted it, Leela's form brightened, the sorrow in her eyes starting to fade. "Thank you," Leela said softly. "Now I can finally rest." With a gentle smile, the ghostly figure dissolved into a shower of twinkling lights. Emma stood alone, heart full, the cold night now feeling warm and inviting. From that night onward, her apartment door never echoed with mystery, just peace. The clock in the hotel lobby struck midnight, its chimes swallowed by the creeping fog outside. Detective Margot slipped inside room 7, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. The door creaked open to reveal nothing but an empty bed, untouched since noon, the room unnervingly silent. She inspected the window. No sign of forced entry, just a cool breeze whispering secrets. Suddenly, a faint tapping echoed from the closet. "Who's there?" Margot called, her voice steady despite the chill rising in her spine. No answer, just the rhythmic tap-tap-tap, like a code in Morse. Drawing her gun, she cracked open the closet door to reveal a small, antique music box. Margot opened it cautiously. A haunting melody spilled into the air, matching the tapping perfectly. Behind the music box, she found a folded note taped to the wall. Unfolding it, she read, "Find the truth beneath the floorboards." Kneeling, she searched the rug for a trapdoor, fingers brushing against a loose plank. With effort, she pried it open, revealing a narrow space beneath the floor. Inside lay a weathered journal, its pages filled with frantic scrawls detailing secret meetings and betrayals. One entry caught her eye. "The visitor at midnight knows the real story." Margot glanced toward the clock. It was midnight now, the hour when the mystery came alive. Footsteps stirred above. She heard a door shut softly, then silence again. Clutching the journal, she smelled a faint trace of perfume, familiar yet elusive. Emerging from the floor, she whispered. The key was hidden in the echoes all along. As dawn broke, the truth unraveled, and room 7's secret finally found its voice. Ella steps through the village boundary, her silver locket catching the fading light and reflecting a faint shimmer. The air feels heavier here, as if the land itself is holding its breath just before twilight. Near the ancient hollow oak, Rowan lifts his wooden whistle to his lips and plays a strange, haunting melody. The tune echoes softly, a call to something hidden just beyond sight among the gnarled branches and shadows. Old Man Garin approaches Ella with a grave look, his twisted walking stick tapping the ground. He warns her that as dusk falls, the woods begin whispering secrets, and the shadows that stretch from the oak should never be trusted. As the sun dips behind the trees, long shadows creep unnaturally across the cobblestones, thickening near the oak's hollow. Darkness seems to ripple and stretch where no light should bend, unsettling the quiet village streets. Ella's silver locket suddenly chills against her skin, colder than the evening air. From the darkness, a faint, indecipherable whisper brushes past her ears, sending a shiver down her spine. Rowan rushes into the village square, breathless, reporting several village animals have vanished near the woods. A fearful hush spreads among the villagers, their eyes darting nervously toward the encroaching shadows. From deep within the village, the persistent ticking of an old clock grows louder, its echo filling the quiet night. The rhythmic talk strikes uneven beats, unease mounting with each distorted chime. Determined, Ella and Rowan prepare to confront the mystery of the hollow oak. Armed with a flashlight and Rowan's whistle, they step cautiously toward the boundary between safety and shadow. Just beyond the tree line, shadows flicker erratically, moving against the angles of natural light. Their dance is unnatural, unsettling, as if driven by some unknown will contrary to the day's fading rays. Suddenly, the warm night air chills unexpectedly, Ella's breath misting in front of her. Whispering shapes rise and circle around them, elusive and twisting like smoke on the wind. Old Man Garen's voice carries a warning as he recounts the legend of a shadowy being bound to the oak, sustained by the villagers' fear. His tale weaves dread through the night, making the darkness seem alive and watchful. Out of the shadows, dogs howl in terror before fleeing, their elongated shadows contorting grotesquely before fading into the night. Fear weighs heavier with each unnatural movement in the darkness. Rowan lifts his wooden whistle, blowing a sharp, piercing note that cuts through the gloom. The sound ripples outward, momentarily forcing the darkness to recoil and retreat from their immediate circle. Ella's silver locket begins to glow faintly, a soft light pulsing in response to the encroaching darkness. It seems attuned to the shadow's presence, reacting like a silent sentinel against the gloom. As midnight nears, nervous villagers barricade their doors and light candles, their flickering flames casting fragile halos against the growing black. The warm light serves as a fragile barrier, keeping the most malevolent shadows at bay. From the edge of the candlelight, Ella spots the shade, its form undulating with no fixed face, eyes glowing faintly like dying embers. It lurks just out of reach, watching and waiting for a moment to strike. In the darkness, Rowan panics as he discovers his wooden whistle is missing. The shadows creep closer in silence, and without his signal, fear starts to take deeper hold in their hearts. A sudden gust of cold wind sweeps through the village, snuffing out all the lit candles in an instant. The village plunges into pitch-black darkness, broken only by the ominous ticking filling the void. The eerie ticking of the distant clock begins to fluctuate wildly, slowing, then rapidly speeding up. This erratic rhythm disorients and unsettles those who hear it, twisting time into something uncanny. Against the chaotic ticking, Ella's silver locket pulses with bright, rhythmic flashes. It seems to challenge the erratic beat, its steady glow a beacon amid the distorted time and creeping fear. A whisper of cold breath brushes Ella's ear as the shade's voice, low and sibilant, tempts her with secrets hidden beneath the hollow oak. It promises truths to those brave enough to step below its roots alone. Rowan stumbles in the shadows to find a hidden path woven among the tree roots, leading deeper into darkness. Drawn with both curiosity and dread, the path promises answers no one else dares seek. The oldest lamps in the village flicker wildly, casting erratic light and stretching shadows that dance along the walls. The air thickens with unease as the darkness seems to mock the fragile defenses of light. Though hesitation grips her heart, Ella clutches her glowing locket tightly and steps forward, crossing the threshold beneath the hollow oak. Each heartbeat echoes like the ticking clock as she follows the whisper's call into the unknown. Within the shifting shadows, Ella glimpses flickers of trapped villagers from the past, their silent faces pleading for release. The shade reveals its captive collection, a haunting gallery of lost souls entwined within its darkness. Rowan's voice echoed softly through the maze of roots, faint yet insistent, leading Ella deeper under the hollow oak's gnarled branches. Each call grew clearer, a beacon in the dim twilight where shadows clung like whispers. Ella tightened her grip on her silver locket, trusting the boy's guidance through the labyrinthine roots. An eerie clock struck 13, its chime impossible yet unmistakable, reverberating across the clearing with unnatural resonance. The ticking that enveloped them quickened, marking the thinning veil between time's threads. This haunting hour signaled the boundary where past and present entwined beneath the ancient oak. Ella's vision blurred, revealing fleeting memories of others caught in the shade's grasp. Each confrontation ended with silent vanishing and unopened eyes. The images flickered like shadows themselves, ghostly remnants of vanished souls. These past encounters whispered of fear and loss, locked within the tree's age-old roots. Rowan's fingers traced a carved symbol beneath layers of moss, its intricate design mirroring the emblem on Ella's silver locket. The hidden panel in the bark seemed almost alive beneath his touch, its meaning deep and urgent. This unexpected link promised a path, a shared secret binding their fates together. Around them, shadows stirred and bled into malformed faces, flickering with unstable life yet impossible to focus on fully. These ephemeral visages twisted and warped, like smoke caught in flickering candlelight, hinting at torment and despair. The air grew heavier, thick with silent pleadings woven into the darkness. Drawing on a surge of courage, Ella reached out to touch the carved symbol. Her fingertips met the rough wood, steady and warm. Suddenly, the earth beneath the hollow oak trembled, a low rumble resonating through the roots and into their bones. The connection felt alive, a bridge bridging shadow and flesh. The shade recoiled, its form condensing into a dense, foreboding mass that radiated menace. Shadows thickened, swirling with malevolent energy, as though angered by Ella's audacity. Its intangible presence now grew oppressive, suffocating the little light that lingered beneath the canopy. Rowan seized his wooden whistle, holding it as shadows encroached, then blew a piercing, desperate note. The sound shattered the darkness momentarily, scattering the shadowy faces like mist in dawn's first light. The fleeting reprieve bolstered their spirits even as anticipation churned in the air. Between Ella's locket and the carved symbol, a glowing thread appeared, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Its gentle light wove through the darkness, a fragile but undeniable link uniting past and present. The thread's rhythm synced with the old clock's ticking, drawing power from both time and memory. Emerging from the veil of trees, Old Man Garin began chanting an ancient verse, his voice low and resonant. His words carried strength, a call to awaken the spirits of the village and fortify their resolve. The air around him shimmered with age-old power, binding those present with shared determination. One by one, villagers lit candles, their flames flickering to life simultaneously in a unified defiance. The combined glow pushed back shadows inch by inch, carving space for hope amidst despair. The hollow oak stood illuminated, a battleground of light against creeping darkness. The ticking of the old clock accelerated, matching the pulsing glow emanating from Ella's silver locket. Time itself seemed to quicken, heartbeat and second hand entwined in urgent rhythm. This symphony of light and sound heralded a turning point beneath the ancient boughs. The shade lunged toward Rowan with desperate fury, its dark limbs grasping for the boy. But Rowan slipped away swiftly, darting into the village square where open light and life beckoned. The momentary breach left the shade agitated, its form writhing in shadowed frustration. Beneath the hollow oak, Ella faced the shade, her locket held aloft as a beacon of light. She stood steady in the dark, unyielding despite the fear gnawing within. The silver gleamed, casting sharp reflections that fractured the shadows around her. The shadows twisted before her eyes, revealing a memory warped by pain, a betrayal that bound the shade to this place. Faces contorted in anguish, a bond forged in sorrow and regret lingering beneath the gnarled roots. This revelation seeped like poison through the fractured darkness. Rowan and villagers formed a circle around the tree, hands joined and voices softly humming a steady, soothing melody. Their unity created a shield of warmth and light, reinforcing Ella's stand against the shadowy force. The harmony wove a protective barrier stronger than any single candle's glow. The shade's form flickered erratically, sorrow washing over its face before it began to fracture and dissolve. The fractured shadows splintered, losing coherence, as if the sorrow itself unraveled its dark essence. The force that once loomed threateningly now faltered, its presence fading like a dying breath. From Ella's locket burst a blinding light that pierced the darkness, scattering shadow and smoke alike. The sudden brilliance banished the lingering forms with fierce clarity, cleansing the hollow oak beneath which they had gathered. Light filled the space where fear and shadow had once dwelled. A profound silence followed, the incessant ticking ceasing abruptly as calm returned to the village. Moonlight bathed the clearing, serene and pure after the night's turmoil. The air felt lighter, charged with a peace that had seemed impossible just moments before. Exhausted, Ella collapsed, the silver locket resting warm against her chest once again. Dawn broke over the horizon, casting soft golden hues through the trees and promising a new beginning. Relief and weariness mingled in the quiet aftermath of their ordeal. Rowan knelt where the hollow oak had stood, discovering a small sprout glowing faintly with vibrant life. This fragile shoot seemed a symbol of renewal, the forest's promise of healing and hope reborn. Its gentle radiance breathed comfort into the cool morning air. One by one, villagers emerged from their homes, faces marked by relief yet touched by the terror of the night. Silent glances passed between them, a shared understanding of what had transpired beneath the ancient tree. Life would go on, forever altered but resilient. Old Man Garin approached Ella, a solemn nod acknowledging the closing of an ancient curse at last. His weathered eyes reflected respect and gratitude for her bravery. The twisted walking stick tapped softly against the earth, a rhythm steady as new beginnings. Ella's silver locket remained unbroken, now humming softly with a gentle, warm light. It shimmered faintly, a token of strength and hope preserved through darkness. The locket's glow promised protection and memory entwined beneath its silver face. Rowan clutched his wooden whistle, aware that though the danger had passed, its call might be needed again someday. Yet hope warmed his heart more than fear, a belief in peace restored for their village. The whistle hung quietly at his side as dawn painted the sky with promise. Ella held her silver locket up to the dim light, explaining how its glow sealed the shade's power by binding shadow and time together. This ancient magic ensured that the dark entity could no longer slip through the cracks of the ticking moments. The villagers listened intently, their eyes reflecting both wonder and relief. Vowing to keep the hollow ground sacred, the villagers agreed to protect it from any future encroachment of darkness. Their whispered promises mingled with the soft wind, each determined to guard the fragile balance that held peace in their home. The memory of the shade would remain, but only as a warning etched in their hearts. Rowan knelt at the village center, carefully planting a glowing sprout whose light pulsed gently against the twilight. This living symbol of rebirth and safety would remind everyone of the harmony they now preserved. The little shoot seemed to breathe new life into the weary earth beneath its roots. Ella, no longer gripped by fear, felt a lasting connection to the woods and the shadows they contained. She stood watchful and calm, anticipating any ripple in the natural order rather than recoiling from it. Her silver locket shimmered quietly, a beacon of steady strength. Old Man Garin gathered the villagers to recount tales of courage past and caution against the lure of fear's return. His voice, steady as his twisted walking stick, urged vigilance and unity. Through his stories, the community understood the importance of facing darkness together, not alone. The old clock in the village square chimed 12 times, its steady tick and reassuring strike restoring normalcy to the air. Each chime echoed like a heartbeat, affirming that the unnatural ticking was at last silenced. Time flowed without disturbance, comforting every listening soul. As night settled in, shadows folded into their natural shapes, behaving without menace or mystery. The whispers on the wind faded, replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves and the night's tranquil breath. Darkness returned to a harmless cloak, a backdrop rather than a threat. Ella and Rowan sat quietly beside the glowing sprout, the silver locket resting between them with a faint, steady glow. Their shared presence spoke of friendship forged in challenge and hope blossoming anew. Together, they watched as the village breathed in peaceful silence. Throughout the village, restful sleep enveloped the people, dreams clear of whispering shadows or unsettling ticks. The nightmare of darkness receded, leaving only calm and comfort in its wake. The silence felt alive with gentle promise as the night deepened. When dawn's light filtered over the village rooftops, it cast a warm glow filled with hope and quiet strength. The land seemed to sigh in relief, renewed and steady after the trials faced. A new day began, bright and unshadowed, held safely beneath watchful eyes and hearts. Right when Mark opened his lunchbox, it was empty. "Where did my sandwich go?" he muttered. He peeked under the table, no sandwich. He checked his backpack, also no sandwich. Mark's friend Lily spotted him. "Lost your lunch?" she asked with a grin. "Yep, someone stole my sandwich," Mark declared dramatically, waving an empty wrapper. Determined, they started a serious investigation around the cafeteria. They interrogated the class hamster, who only squeaked back. Then they asked Mr. Brown, the janitor, who shrugged with a chuckle. Next, they surveyed the suspects. Tommy, the cookie thief, Sarah, the sneaky soda sipper, and Jenny, who always had crumbs. Jenny claimed innocence, dusting imaginary crumbs from her sleeves. Tommy looked suspiciously content, licking chocolate off his fingers. Lily found a suspicious trail of lettuce leaves, leading towards the teacher's lounge. Mark followed, whispering, "This is it, the breakthrough." They peeked inside and saw the teacher, Mr. Clark, happily munching on what looked exactly like Mark's sandwich. "Caught red-handed, Mr. Clark laughed and said, "I thought someone left this for me." Mark rolled his eyes. "Next time, just ask." As a peace offering, Mr. Clark promised to buy Mark a new sandwich every day this week. Mark grinned. "Deal," but only if Tommy shares his cookies too. Lily snorted. Looks like our investigation turned into a snack party. They all laughed together, the mystery solved and hunger satisfied. And from that day on, Mark's lunches stayed mysteriously untouched, except during snack parties. Night deepens over the city as rain taps steadily against glowing neon signs. Detective Marlowe stands outside a smoky jazz club, flicking open his silver lighter, its flame briefly illuminating his weathered face. Inside, Evelyn Shaw captivates the crowd, her scarlet dress vivid amidst the haze of smoke and shadowed figures. Her sharp eyes scan the audience with a knowing intensity as her voice fills the room. From across the street, Marlowe watches Evelyn with a tense expression. His gaze shifts sharply when Vincent Crane, marked by his jagged cheek scar, strides confidently into the club. Vincent's gaze cuts through the smoky air as he surveys the audience, his intimidating presence silencing whispers and drawing eyes. His brass cufflinks glint faintly beneath the neon haze. Marlowe's coat billows in the chill wind as he follows Vincent into a narrow, rain-slick alley. The atmosphere tightens as tension coils between the towering figures under flickering neon. Vincent pauses, throwing a dark, threatening glance toward a neon-lit apartment window where Evelyn's silhouette can be faintly seen, the night rain distorting the scene. Returning to the jazz club entrance, Marlowe clutches his silver lighter, a knot of unease tightening in his chest as the rain trickles down his trench coat. Evelyn slips out of the club, rainwater soaking her scarlet dress. Her fingers close protectively around a vintage locket as she moves down the narrow, neon-glowing lane. Shadowed beneath his fedora, Marlowe trails Evelyn carefully, blending with the wet darkness to keep her in sight without drawing attention. A rough thug steps into Evelyn's path, blocking the wet street and demanding the gleaming locket. Her defiant expression hardens as she refuses to hand it over. Marlowe steps from the shadows into the pale streetlight, his calm voice and posture confronting the thug with silent authority. The thug backs away reluctantly as Evelyn glances quickly at Marlowe, her grateful eyes reflecting the flickering neon as they disappear into the rain-soaked maze. In a deserted warehouse, Vincent leans coldly over his henchman, his voice sharp as he outlines chilling plans centered on Evelyn's hidden secrets. Under an unstable, flickering neon sign, Marlowe meets Officer Doyle, who puffs on his cigarette and warns him of Crane's deep corruption and reach in the city. Evelyn stares into a puddle distorted by rain, the vintage locket gleaming clearly as she steels herself for the dangerous confrontation looming ahead. Investigating Crane's hideout, Marlowe discovers encrypted notes hinting at a conspiracy intricately tied to Evelyn's mysterious past and the locket's significance. Visiting an old confidante, Evelyn learns a secret about the locket's origin, revealing its potential to unravel the dangerous web surrounding her. Vincent's men capture one of Marlowe's trusted contacts, deepening the threat and tightening Crane's iron grip on the city's shadows. Beneath a flickering neon sign reading Solace, Marlowe and Evelyn exchange low whispers, rain pelting around them as plans intertwine amidst growing danger. A coded message guides Marlowe to a clandestine meeting, where he narrowly escapes an expertly planned ambush lurking within the rainy night's shadows. Back at the club, Evelyn's voice sharpens, her fiery song carrying hidden warnings and cryptic signals to Marlowe waiting among the smoke and neon. Officer Doyle uncovers damning evidence linking city officials to Vincent Crane, complicating Marlowe's pursuit as loyalties fray under neon lights and rain. In a private encounter, Vincent confronts Evelyn, revealing knowledge of her darkest secret and delivering an ominous threat that jeopardizes her future. During a tense stakeout in relentless rain, Marlowe's silver lighter fails to ignite, the flickering neon casting shadows as a subtle sign of impending peril. Evelyn carefully slips the vintage locket inside an old, worn book, an unspoken symbol of trust and secrets yet to be shared, as rain continues to fall softly around her. The night erupted in gunfire, shadows scattering as Marlowe lunged to shield a trembling boy. The child gripped a crumpled letter, the address unmistakably marked for Evelyn. Marlowe's silver lighter sparked briefly in the rain, illuminating the urgency in the boy's wide eyes. Vincent's voice cut through the chaos, commanding a citywide blackout to tighten his grip. Neon signs flickered and died, plunging the streets into smothering darkness. His jagged scar seemed to catch the last glimmers of fading light, a sinister reminder of the power he wielded. Under muted neon ghosts that flickered weakly in the downpour, Marlowe and Evelyn slipped through treacherous alleys. Each step brought new dangers, but Evelyn's vintage scarlet dress and Marlowe's steady gait pushed through the gloom. Their eyes met briefly, a silent vow exchanged beneath the relentless rain. In defiance of commands, Officer Doyle appeared from the shadows, cigarette smoke swirling in the damp air. He handed Marlowe encrypted files, the paper damp but intact, a lifeline in the creeping darkness. Doyle's stoic gaze carried unspoken trust as he disappeared back into rain-soaked alleys. A piercing betrayal shook Marlowe's circle to its core, forcing him into the sanctuary of a hidden refuge. Outside, rain hammered relentlessly, blurring the city's fractured edges under neon glows. The weight of suspicion pressed heavy, but Marlowe's silver lighter remained by his side, a small beacon in his solitude. Evelyn, her scarlet dress now torn by confrontation, stood unwavering before the betrayer. Her powerful gaze cut through the cold rain, locket visible as a symbol of her resolve. The city's flickering neon signs cast erratic shadows, reflecting the storm that raged between them. Back in the sanctuary, Marlowe pored over the encrypted files, piecing together fractured clues. A startling connection emerged. Evelyn and Vincent share a past far older and more tangled than anyone suspected. The rain tapped on the window, a steady rhythm to his growing unease. At a grim crime scene, rain relentlessly washed away vital evidence, erasing traces beneath the dripping neon glow. Vincent's shadow slipped through the shadows once more, evading capture with practiced ease. The city's wet streets whispered secrets only the darkness could keep. Gathered beneath a flickering sign, Evelyn revealed the secret nestled within her vintage locket. It was more than a keepsake. It was the key to dismantling Vincent's sprawling criminal web. Her scarlet dress shimmered wet against the rain, determination shining in her eyes. Beneath the fractured neon and persistent rain, Marlowe and Evelyn crafted their final strike. Every detail was aligned, every risk calculated in the dripping silence. The city's pulse beat steady around them, as shadows awaited the unfolding plan. Officer Doyle stood firm as henchmen surged through the streets, cigarette ends burning low and forgotten. His methodical defense carved space for the coming assault, every breath steady against mounting chaos. Neon reflections danced across his stoic face as rain splattered around them. A desperate chase wound through narrow alleyways, shadows stretching and contracting under flickering neon. Marlowe cornered Vincent at last, the night tense with unspoken reckoning. Every step echoed with the weight of years lost and battles yet to be fought. Vincent's jagged scar gleamed sharp and ominous in the dim light as he leveled accusations at Marlowe. His words bit deep, recalling failures Marlowe had kept buried in the rain. The city seemed to hold its breath, caught between past shadows and present resolve. With a rasp, Marlowe's silver lighter sputtered back to life, its small flame fighting the darkness. Fueled by rekindled will, he met Vincent's challenge head-on. The dance of light and shadow blurred as the decisive struggle erupted amidst dripping neon. Evelyn's fingers trembled slightly as she used her locket to unlock secret files within Vincent's safe house. The damning evidence spilled forth, exposing the full breadth of his crimes to the public eye. Outside, rain hammered steadily, as if cleansing the city's sins. Under Doyle's commanding lead, police raids cut through the darkness, flashlights piercing shadowed corners. The storm of law enforcement surged with growing force, neon fragments reflecting on wet pavement. Each step pushed Vincent closer to exposure. Cornered and defiant, Vincent's smirk suggested layers deeper than anyone anticipated. His scar caught the residual neon glow, hinting at conspiracies yet concealed beneath city streets. The web of shadows tightened, threatening to ensnare all involved. Marlowe chose protection over selfish safety, escorting Evelyn through rain-slicked, neon-streaked streets. His trench coat billowed with the storm's fury as he moved steadily toward refuge. The silver lighter's glow was a quiet reassurance in the unrelenting downpour. Evelyn's voice crackled through the radio, a beacon of hope amid the relentless shadows. Her words carried strength and resilience, cutting through mist and static. Despite the rain, her spirit burned brightly, a signal amid the neon gloom. In the confusion and rising storm, Vincent vanished into the pounding rain, his scarred visage disappearing like a ghost. The city's heartbeat faltered as uncertainty swept through the soaked streets. The chase was far from over. Shadows still whispered his name. Marlowe and Evelyn sought refuge atop a secluded rooftop, where neon rain cascaded around them. Plans and promises were exchanged beneath flickering lights and storm-soaked skies. Their alliance forged stronger, united against the dark forces still lurking below. Doyle arrived bearing critical news, a witness prepared to break silence and expose Vincent's operations. The cigarette between his lips burned steadily, his eyes keen with cautious optimism. The pieces were aligning, though danger still loomed. Evelyn's locket caught the neon glow as she readied to disclose the final truth to the city's underground press. Her scarlet dress clung to her in steady defiance against the rain and shadows. The moment to shatter silence was near, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Marlowe worked feverishly to decode cryptic clues leading to Vincent's hidden vault beneath the neon-lit streets. Each revelation peeled back another layer of the tangled conspiracy. Outside, rain continued its ceaseless fall, drumming a tense rhythm to his discoveries. The city held its collective breath as the last fragment of the puzzle slid into place in the relentless rain. Neon signs flickered uncertainly, casting ethereal light over rain-soaked streets. The moment of truth approached, cloaked in shadow and anticipation. Beneath the flickering neon haze, a concealed panel slid open in the damp alley, revealing a narrow passage cloaked in darkness. Detective Marlowe adjusted his trench coat, steeling himself as he stepped inside, the persistent rain muffled behind thick stone walls. His silver lighter flickered briefly, casting fleeting light on the graffiti-scarred walls, leading him deeper into the heart of the city's shadows. From the suffocating darkness, Vincent Crane emerged, his bulky frame stepping forward as if risen from the underworld itself. The jagged scar across his cheek caught the light ominously as he declared himself the architect behind the betrayals that fractured the city's unsuspecting underbelly. His brass cufflinks gleamed with sinister pride, a chilling testament to his ruthless reign. Suddenly, the door burst open, and Evelyn Shaw emerged, her scarlet dress a vivid flame against the bleak chamber. Clutching her vintage locket tightly, she confronted Vincent with undeniable proof of his betrayals, her sharp eyes never wavering. The underworld figures assembled behind them exchanged stunned glances as the truth surfaced under the harsh glow of flickering neon. A heavy silence broke as the rain hammered the broken windows, each drop echoing the shattering of old alliances. Tension thickened the stale air, crackling like static before a storm, the neon signs outside casting eerie shadows through fractured glass. Trust dissolved like mist, the underworld fracturing beneath the weight of unveiled lies and whispered threats. In the claustrophobic chamber, Marlowe lunged at Vincent, their figures merging and breaking apart in the shadows cast by the wet walls. The clash was a desperate dance, his silver lighter temporarily lost in the scuffle as fists collided and coats flared. Each movement etched against the neon-lit gloom, their battle a raw testament to years of deceit and defiance. Evelyn's steady voice cut through the chaos, lifting a small device from within her coat. The recorded confession of Vincent's closest accomplice spilled into the chamber, shattering silence with damning evidence. The weight of his own words unspooled around Vincent, unraveling the last threads of his dark empire beneath the relentless downpour. Vincent's grip faltered, the jagged scar knitting into a grimace of defeat as Officer Doyle appeared. Marlowe and Evelyn stood close, the breaking dawn framing their silhouetted figures. The vintage locket hung between them, glimmering briefly as the first light touched the city below. Rain still whispered against neon, a gentle promise lingering between the two in the quiet aftermath. The city breathed anew beneath soft neon glows, its pulse steadying after the tempest. Marlowe lifted his silver lighter, sparks flickering one last time before igniting into a small, steady flame. The glow marked a delicate balance of hope and uncertainty, signaling a future still unwritten beneath the shimmering shadows. The map was ancient, edges frayed and ink faded, yet it promised a secret buried deep in the Hollowood forest. Lena adjusted her worn leather backpack, the morning mist curling around her as she stepped beneath the daunting canopy of towering oaks. No turning back now, she whispered, tracing the cryptic symbols carved onto the map's surface. Each step was a soft crunch against the moss-covered ground, the air thick with silence save for a distant, haunting call. The compass in her hand spun wild ahead, beckoning her to follow. Through tangles of brambles and over root-strewn paths, the fox led her to a hidden glade shimmering with golden light. At the heart of the clearing stood the Whispering Stone, an ancient monolith covered in swirling runes that seemed to hum with life. Lena approached cautiously, placing her palm against the cool, smooth surface. The runes pulsed beneath her fingers. A voice echoed softly in her mind. Only those who listen with their hearts may unlock the forest's secret. Closing her eyes, Lena breathed deeply, attuning herself to the subtle whispers of the wind brushing through the leaves. Images bloomed in her mind. A hidden doorway beside the stone, sealed for centuries but waiting to be opened. With a gentle press, the ground as the map. Opening it, Lena found a simple locket containing a seed pulsating with life, a symbol of new beginnings and harmony with nature. Emerging from the forest, Lena smiled, knowing the true treasure was the journey itself and the bond she'd formed with the flickering overhead light. Dex inspected the red data chip, suspicion brewing between them. Words were exchanged sharply, betraying their fragile trust in the dangerous game they played. Outside, beyond the rain-streaked window, shadowy figures lingered unseen. Their fleeting reflections shimmered within a cracked mirror hanging awkwardly by the entrance, silently observing. Mara's gloved fingers danced expertly over the security terminal, cracking through dense encryption with ease. Her eyes fixed, determined, as the locked secrets began to yield. A broken clock on the wall ticked uneven rhythms, its hands stuttering in defiance of time. Suddenly, the quiet was pierced by a beep, signaling an incoming encrypted message. Aria's fingers traced the message's cryptic lines, revealing chilling warnings tied to the red data chip's unknown dangers. The weight of the revelation pressed hard against her resolve. From the shadows, the broker's distorted voice crackled ominously through an old radio device. Threats echoed clearly: surrender the chip or face dire consequences beyond their reckoning. Dex slammed his fist against the table, anger flashing over his tattooed arm as blueprints and wires scattered. Frustration twisted in the cramped air, tensions mounting between them all. Mara offered a daring plan: an infiltration of the data vault where the chip had originated. It was risky, but the only chance to unravel the web of deceit surrounding them. Aria hesitated, a haunting memory stirring. A broken clock stopped at midnight, symbolizing lost chances. Doubt flickered momentarily across her sharp features. With determination set, the team readied themselves, the red data chip nestled securely in Aria's jacket pocket. The fractured ticking of clocks outside seemed to count down their fate. Dex methodically checked his gear, the glow of a neon sign casting light across his tattooed arm. His focus was unyielding, the city's restless pulse echoing through the room. At her console, Mara manipulated traffic cameras, her gloved hands orchestrating a diversion to cover their anticipated escape. The city's network became their battlefield. Suddenly, the apartment door shattered inward. Shadowy pursuers stormed in. The urgency of their situation erupted as danger closed rapidly around them. A tense and frantic chase spilled onto rain-slick streets, with Aria deftly navigating the narrow passages. The red data chip's burden weighed on her as every second counted. Dex engaged assailants with striking prowess, his tattooed arm a blur in the melee, while Mara remotely sabotaged their pursuers' escape routes. Their coordinated efforts kept hope alive. They dove into an abandoned warehouse, greeted only by a haunting trail of broken clocks stopped at various fragmented times. The eerie stillness deepened the mystery they faced. Among the debris, Aria spotted a silver locket, its clasp cracked and worn, stirring unsettling familiarity. Suspicion gnawed at her. Was this a link to a ghost from their past? Mara's gloved hands delicately decoded the intricate engravings etched into the locket. Hidden messages emerged, revealing a betrayal by an informant they had once trusted. Dex confronted the informant through a faceless hologram, the broker's looming presence cast as a dark shadow over the exchange. The unseen enemy tightened its grip. Forced to divide, the team pursued scattered clues tied to the broken clocks dotting the city. Each path carried risk, threading deeper into the web of deception woven around them. Arya uncovered a hidden shipment manifest connected to the origins of the red data chip, intensifying the stakes. The puzzle was unraveling, but the danger escalated with each discovery. Mara hit a sudden lockout while hacking, her gloves briefly glowing as she pushed past the barrier. Innovation and persistence became their only weapons against digital defenses closing in. Suddenly ambushed, Dex narrowly escaped, using his tattooed arm's hidden signal to summon a shadowy ally. The fragile line between friend and foe blurred in the shadowed streets. Arya moved silently through the dimly lit clockmaker's shop, her sharp eyes scanning the myriad of broken clocks that adorned the walls. Among the shattered gears and dusty faces, she discovered a coded map hidden beneath a panel, its design mirroring the recurring motif of fractured timepieces. The map's lines intertwined with images of broken clock faces, hinting at a secret path. Suddenly, every clock in the shop chimed in eerie unison, a disorienting cacophony that froze Arya in place. As the echoes faded, a section of the floor subtly slid open, revealing a hidden passage cloaked in shadow. The broken clocks looming around framed this critical moment, underscoring the urgency of her discovery. Miles away, Mara's pale fingers danced over her keyboard, her fingerless gloves flexing as she intercepted an encrypted communication. The message warned of a massive data theft slated for midnight, sending a chill through the team. The red data chip, though not yet in her hands, had been referenced cryptically within the transmission. Dex appeared suddenly beside Arya, his muscular frame tense as he examined the fragments of the map she had uncovered. Piecing together details from the shipment manifest, he connected the dots that hinted at the scale and timing of the impending heist. Their reunion was brief but charged, the background clocks ticking ominously. From the shadows, the broker tightened his control, dispatching assassins whose distorted voices and shadowy forms moved like phantoms in the night. Their presence was an unspoken threat, signaling that no step the trio took would be unchallenged. The broken clocks in the environment seemed to mock their fragile grasp on time and safety. Cornered and outnumbered, the team was forced to split, each member vanishing into different alleys and byways. This narrow escape tested their trust and revealed fissures in their alliance as doubts and fears crept in. The broken clock motif lingered in the background, a reminder that every second counted and their unity was fragile. Later, Arya confronted Mara, her voice edged with frustration over the withheld truths about the red data chip's potential. Mara's gloves remained visible as she hesitated, the tension thick between them. The exchange was sharp, exposing cracks in their shared mission and the stakes they faced. Mara finally unveiled the chip's secret. It was a digital key capable of unlocking vast and hidden corners of the city's surveillance network. This revelation deepened the stakes, showing the scope of the broker's ambitions and the power the chip held. Their breath hung heavy in the air, punctuated by the distant ticking of broken clocks. Meanwhile, Dex grappled with his own conflicts, memories of the intricate tattoo sleeve on his left arm flashing in his mind. These flashbacks linked his past loyalty with his current resolve, grounding him in purpose amidst uncertainty. The tattoo, inked with symbolic gears, seemed to pulse in rhythm with the broken clocks around him. The broker struck back anonymously, sabotaging their communications with waves of interference. Each team's connection faltered, isolating them in their individual spheres of danger. The broken clocks in the background fell silent, underscoring the growing chaos and their vulnerability. Arya arrived at a desolate tower, the final clock looming above Frozen at midnight, the very hour planned for the heist. Time seemed to stand still as she prepared to confront the endgame. The broken clock hands pointed relentlessly toward urgency and inevitability. Within the tower, Mara's gloves moved deftly over her equipment, bypassing intricate security systems with rapid taps. Her pale features set in concentration, she fought against digital barriers to clear the path for her team. Around her, faint clock faces flickered on monitors, their fractures echoing the theme of fractured time. Dex intercepted a courier clutching a red envelope, the color matching the data chip that had come to symbolize their mission. This envelope held a critical piece of the broker's plan, shifting their understanding and strategy. Even as neon lights flickered, broken clocks hung ominously nearby, framing the hidden threat. Together, the team narrowly avoided a trap set beneath the tower's foundation, illuminated just enough by failing neon signs to reveal danger. They moved swiftly, the atmosphere thick with tension and uncertainty. Broken clocks in the area seemed to almost count down their fleeting chance for survival. Mara disabled a swarm of surveillance drones overhead, her gloves glowing faintly as she fought digital battles. This gave Arya and Dex a narrow window of opportunity to advance, their movements urgent and calculated. The broken clock motif lingered, a silent witness to their desperate push forward. Inside the tower's heart, Arya's eyes caught a cracked mirror reflecting her tense, focused expression. The fragmented glass paralleled the fractured timeline they struggled against, reminding her that time was slipping away. The palpable pressure of the impending heist bore down as the clock struck closer to midnight. Dex confronted a shadowy figure cloaked beneath a hood, a mask shaped like a broken clock hiding the intruder's identity. Their brief encounter was charged with danger and uncertainty, the clock motifs on the mask echoing the pervasive theme of lost time. The silhouette's movements were swift, leaving Dex questioning who stood before him. A fierce struggle revealed the broker's true agenda: dominion over the city's invisible digital web, manipulating every unseen strand. This battle was not just physical but ideological, the broken clocks serving as a backdrop to a power struggle over time and control. The stakes had escalated beyond what the trio imagined. Mara launched a counterhack, her gloves glowing fiercely as she engaged in a digital duel with the broker's sophisticated code. The flashy lights and flurries of data in the tower's control room painted a vivid picture of their hidden war. Every keystroke was a battle for the city's surveillance future. Victory seemed within reach until the broker unleashed a devastating final trap, fracturing the entire data network across the city. Alarms blared as systems faltered and chaos erupted. The broken clocks seemed to shatter metaphorically, symbolizing disrupted time and control. The screen of their devices faded to black amid the blaring alarms, the broken clocks ceasing there, ticking in an eerie silence. The blackout left them helpless and isolated, dangling in the dark void of uncertainty. Time itself felt suspended, the motif now hauntingly literal. In isolation, Arya's thoughts drifted to the silver locket with its broken clasp, a tangible symbol of unfinished business and fractured bonds. Memories of its meaning stirred resolve within her, fueling a flicker of hope. Even in the absence of time, connections lingered. Suddenly, Mara's voice crackled through a hidden communication channel, calm and urging focus amidst the chaos. Her message was a lifeline, reminding the team of their shared mission and the strength in unity. The sound rekindled a fragile thread of trust. Dex carefully repaired a small, intricate device embedded within his tattoo, the motions steady and skilled. The device sparked to life, restoring the delicate communication lines that had been severed. The broken clocks in the background began to faintly tick once more, signaling renewed hope. The team reconvened at the tower's apex, the red data chip pulsing subtly in Arya's grip like a heartbeat. Around them, remnants of broken clocks framed the bleak city skyline, time still fractured but not defeated. Their unity, fragile yet resolute, poised them for the final confrontation ahead. The red data chip, once thought to be a weapon, reveals itself as a key to restoring the stolen digital memories held hostage by the broker. Arya studies it carefully, realizing its potential to unlock what was lost rather than destroy. Mara, gloves firmly on, connects the chip to her portable device, triggering a wave of data that slowly reverses the blackout. Around them, broken clocks begin their synchronized ticking once more, filling the air with a hopeful rhythm. In a rare moment, the broker's shadowy mask falters, revealing a familiar face etched with pain and regret, someone deeply tied to their shared past struggles. This glimpse casts new light on the contours of their conflict. Dex steps forward, his tattooed arm glowing softly as he faces the broker. His voice is steady, embodying both forgiveness and strength, breaking through years of silence between them. Arya slides the red chip into the central console. Streams of data flood the system, revealing hidden conspiracies buried deep beneath layers of deception. The room hums with newfound energy, secrets unfolding before their eyes. Citywide systems awaken, lights flicker back to life while long-held shadows retreat into forgotten corners. The faint ticking of clocks syncs with the resurgence of order and control. Mara finally removes her fingerless gloves, a silent symbol of trust restored as the complex digital web begins to heal. Technology feels less like a barrier and more like a bridge between them. The broken clocks scattered across the city start moving forward in unison, marking the dawn of a new chapter. Time, once lost, now regains its steady, purposeful flow. From the high tower, Arya, Dex, and Mara watch the sunrise breaking through rain-streaked glass, their silhouettes dark against the light. The scene breathes relief, unity, and the promise of what lies ahead. In Arya's hand, the silver locket glints softly, now repaired and whole. It symbolizes the closure of their ordeal and stands as a quiet promise of vigilance and hope for the future. Evelyn Drake arrived at Greystone Manor, her red scarf fluttering in the cold breeze as the silhouette of the clock tower loomed overhead. The air held a chill, mirroring the unease she felt about the recent strange happenings reported here. At the doorstep, Thomas Hale greeted her warmly, clutching a stack of old letters he'd found hidden within the manor's vast library. His sandy hair was tousled, and behind his glasses, his eyes sparkled with curiosity about the manor's secrets. Inside the grand hall, the clock tower's hands eerily stood still at 3:15, casting long, distorted shadows over the peeling wallpaper stained by time. The dim, warm light was beginning to fade, tension creeping into the corners of the room. Evelyn studied a faded photograph showing a family posed beneath the very clock tower outside. Her sharp eyes noted a missing figure in the picture, deepening the mystery that hovered around the manor. Without a sound, Mr. Grayson appeared, clutching his silver pocket watch tightly. His weathered face drew serious as he offered a somber warning about the manor's troubled past, his voice barely above a whisper. In the study, Evelyn uncovered a locked diary, its cover etched with a strange symbol that matched the border framing the faded photograph. The red scarf brushed against the diary as Evelyn held it, a silent signal of discovery. Thomas proposed they search the manor's grounds for the diary's key as the wind began to howl, rattling the old window panes. Outside, the clock tower stood silhouetted against a darkening sky, its still hands mocking the passage of time. As they reached the garden, Leela Crane appeared from the shadows, her mischievous smile breaking the tension. She claimed to have heard faint whispers near the old oak tree, which stood twisted beneath the looming clock tower. The group gathered around the ancient roots of the tree, where Evelyn's fingers found a hidden compartment. Within it lay an old key, its metal cold and ominous as the clock tower's shadow stretched across the ground. Suddenly, inside the manor, the clock chimed 3:15 sharply, its sound echoing through the halls despite being frozen for decades. The sudden noise startled everyone, plunging the room into a shadowy stillness. Evelyn opened the diary with trembling hands, reading aloud a cryptic entry hinting at secrets concealed behind the manor's very walls. Her red scarf slipped slightly as each word deepened their collective unease. Footsteps echoed across the floorboards upstairs, but when the group raced to the hallway, it was empty, haunted only by their whispered guesses and flickering shadows. The cold light from the window cast eerie patterns along the worn floor. Thomas discovered a hidden passage behind a grand bookshelf, its entrance marked by the same mysterious symbol etched on the diary and photograph. Dust swirled in the dim light, the air thickening with anticipation as the clock tower loomed outside. Evelyn hesitated at the passage, debating whether to proceed while her red scarf snagged on a protruding rusty nail, tugging her back to the present moment. Her sharp eyes scanned the shadowed corridor beyond as tension tightened. Determined, they resolved to explore the passage together, each step causing the manor to seem alive, exhaling shadows that grew thicker around them. Outside, the clock tower stood dark, the setting sun casting long shadows through broken windows. Inside the narrow passage, faded portraits clung to the walls, their eyes seeming to follow every movement with silent judgment. The red scarf brushed past a portrait's glass, sending a shiver down Evelyn's spine. Without warning, a gust of cold wind extinguished their lanterns, plunging them into impenetrable darkness. Evelyn's hands trembled as she relit the lantern, the flickering flame fighting back the oppressive blackness. At the passage's end, A creaking door slowly opened to reveal a dust-laden room crowded with forgotten furniture and memories long buried. Faint light from their lanterns danced over the faded surfaces as the shadowy atmosphere thickened. Leela unfolded a torn journal page she discovered among the debris, reading aloud a tale of betrayal that had shattered the family decades before. The words hung heavy in the air, deepening the sense of something lurking within the manor's walls. A sudden creak beneath Thomas's foot revealed a trapdoor, its edges swallowed by dust and darkness, descending further underground. The manor seemed to hold its breath as they peered into the unknown below. They descended into a chamber, adorned with ancient symbols etched into stone, where a goblet stained dark with age rested at its center. The flickering lantern light threw unsettling shapes, echoing through the silent room beneath the manor. Again, Evelyn's red scarf caught on a rusty nail, pulling loose a hidden drawer embedded in the wall. Inside lay a mysterious locket, its metal tarnished but intact, glinting faintly in the dim light. The group debated whether to open the locket, its weight heavy with possibilities. Inside, a miniature portrait bore a striking resemblance to the missing figure in the old photograph, suggesting hidden ties and unresolved secrets. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the underground chamber, extinguishing their lantern once more. Faint, indistinct whispers echoed off the stone, sending a chill through their bones as shadows danced on the walls. Thomas called out into the darkness, but only silence answered back. Fear mounted as the group pressed onward, each step weighed down by the manor's thickening tension and the unknown waiting ahead. Mr. Grayson's weathered face turned solemn as he confessed that he had known the manor's secrets all his life, but the weight of what might lie ahead filled him with dread. The silver pocket watch in his hand ticked softly, marking the uneasy moment, as if time itself hesitated alongside them. Evelyn tightened her red scarf around her neck, her eyes fierce with determination. "We can't turn back now," she insisted, driven by a need to uncover the truth hidden beneath Greystone Manor, no matter the cost. The group's flashlight beams landed on a wall inscribed with a cryptic poem, the faded letters hinting at a hidden treasure and a broken promise that haunted the manor's history. Shadows danced across the aged stone, adding a chilling weight to the verse. A creeping unease settled over them as they realized the treasure was connected not just to wealth, but to the manor's troubled past and the unrest still rippling through its halls. The shadows seemed deeper now, as if the manor itself was warning them away. Suddenly, a noise rustled in the shadows, sharp and fleeting. Heartbeats quickening, they made the tense decision to split up, each searching for clues, apprehension growing heavier with every quiet footstep. Evelyn's sharp eyes caught a glimpse of something familiar beneath peeling wallpaper, an old family crest bearing the same emblem as the locked diary. Her red scarf brushed against the wall as she traced the faded emblem, a symbol connecting past and present. Meanwhile, Thomas's fingers uncovered a secret compartment hidden in the floorboards. Inside lay a blood-stained letter addressed simply to E, its ink blurred but the urgency unmistakable, sending a chill through the room. A startled voice called out, and Leela rejoined the group with wide eyes, claiming she had seen a fleeting shadow vanish down the dimly lit hall. Her mischievous smile faded, replaced by an ominous tension that warned they were not alone. Regrouping, the four pieced together their discoveries, the clues suggesting that the missing figure had been silenced in a tragic act tied deeply to the manor's secrets. The weight of that silence pressed down on them all. Mr. Grayson led them to the manor's clock tower, revealing it had stopped exactly at the hour the betrayal took place, time frozen at that moment of profound upheaval. The silver pocket watch in his hand seemed to echo the stillness, marking a moment suspended in history. They rushed towards the tower, but the manor's walls felt alive, closing in as an unseen force barred their path. Shadows lengthened and shifted, turning the familiar home into a confining labyrinth of fear and resistance. Evelyn's red scarf snagged on a rusted hinge, and with a tug, the clock's hands trembled and began to move again. The slow turning of time seemed to unlock something deeper within the manor's heart as the mechanism groaned to life. As the clock struck 3:15, a concealed door creaked open at the base of the tower, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling upwards into darkness. The faint glow from their torches revealed dust motes dancing like spirits in the cool air. Carefully ascending, they reached a chamber filled with family relics and an ancient journal, the room suffused with a warm golden light contrasting the manor's usual shadowy gloom. Each object held whispers of a forgotten legacy. Evelyn opened the journal and read aloud a confession detailing a misunderstood sacrifice made to protect the manor's legacy from ruin. The words painted a complex picture that challenged everything they had assumed about the past. Suddenly, the chamber's light dimmed until only shadows remained, and an indistinct figure materialized, softly calling Evelyn's name. The apparition's presence was both unsettling and tender, as if begging for understanding. The ghostly figure gestured toward the journal before fading away, urging them to grasp the truth within its pages before it vanished into the depths of memory. The silence left behind was heavy with unspoken revelations. Thomas focused on the last journal entry and deciphered that the betrayal had been a painful necessity, a choice made to save those within the manor from a darker fate. The harsh truth settled among them like a fragile truce between past and present. The group, relieved yet contemplative, agreed to honor those sacrifices by preserving the manor's history rather than seeking retribution. They prepared to leave the tower, carrying with them a new understanding forged in shadows and light. Outside the chamber, the atmosphere had lightened, the once oppressive tension giving way to faint hope, though shadows lingered, reminding them that some secrets remained veiled beneath Greystone Manor's ancient stones. Descending the spiral stairs, Evelyn clutched a locket she had found earlier, now warm to her touch as if infused with the manor's lingering spirit. Her red scarf fluttered softly, a symbol of their ongoing connection to the house's hidden past. Back in the grand hall, the clock tower's hands now ticked steadily, marking the passage of time as the manor seemed to exhale a breath long held. The steady rhythm echoed a turning point, a present moving forward from a shadowed past. Mr. Grayson expressed heartfelt gratitude to Evelyn and her friends, revealing that the manor's legacy was now safe in their hands. The silver pocket watch gleamed faintly, a silent seal binding them to the manor's history and future. Leela discovered a hidden box tucked beneath the grand hall's floorboards, containing letters of reconciliation that bridged the fractured family history. The mischief returned to her smile, touched now with the weight of healing and hope. Together, they stepped out of Greystone Manor, the dawn casting warm sunlight over the once shadowed estate. As the clock tower chimed softly behind them, their footsteps carried the promise of new beginnings beyond the lingering shadows. Weeks later, Evelyn carefully unveiled the restored portrait in the manor's gallery. The missing figure, once obscured by time, finally appeared reunited with their family, completing the haunting image. Draped in her signature red scarf, Evelyn's eyes gleamed with quiet triumph as the room filled with warm light. Visitors arrived steadily, drawn by the story Evelyn shared with heartfelt passion and care. Each person lingered to hear the tales woven into the manor's walls, their curiosity kindled by the vibrant history now alive. Outside, the clock tower stood tall against a shifting dusky sky, sentinel to the new chapter unfolding. Thomas published an article that gracefully captured the mystery and its resolved secrets. His words painted a tale of redemption and hope, echoing through the town and beyond. His sandy hair catching the soft glow of his desk lamp, Thomas smiled, proud of the narrative they had brought to light. Inspired by their adventure, Leela founded a local history club with enthusiasm and a mischievous smile. Her braided hair catching the afternoon sun, she eagerly encouraged others to uncover untold stories buried in the town's past. The club meetings became vibrant gatherings where curiosity and friendship blossomed. The silver pocket watch, gleaming against the reception's polished wood, found a place of honor within the manor. It became a silent symbol of time and memory, its steady ticking marking moments both significant and serene. Visitors admired it, often pausing to reflect on its quiet presence. Evelyn's red scarf transformed into a badge of courage among the townsfolk, symbolizing their shared journey through shadows into light. The vibrant fabric appeared at community events and quiet moments alike, a rallying emblem of resilience. Its color stood vivid against the backdrop of healing and renewal. One evening, Evelyn stood beneath the manor's imposing clock tower, the shadows lengthening around her. The air pulsed with the convergence of past and present, the steady ticking echoing in her ears. Wrapped tight in her red scarf, she felt the weight and warmth of the journey thus far. A soft breeze stirred unexpectedly, lifting her scarf gently as if whispering a quiet thanks for the peace restored. The manor seemed to breathe around her, alive with a calm that had once eluded its halls. The shadowy light softened, embracing the night with a tranquil grace. Greystone Manor transformed from a place of lingering shadows to a beacon of stories, connection, and healing. Its walls, once heavy with silence, now hummed with laughter and shared memories. The clock tower, always watching, cast steady time over lives renewed and histories embraced. Evelyn smiled subtly beneath the watchful clock, knowing some mysteries endure beyond resolutions. These lingering echoes inspired those who chose to listen, weaving new tales beneath the ticking hands. The red scarf fluttered gently, a symbol of enduring hope and untold stories yet to come. Smoke wreathed the crumbled skyline as Mara stepped over rusted debris, eyes scanning for any sign of life. Her voice was a whisper, barely heard over the cold wind. There has to be someone left. The city was a husk, but beneath its ashes, secrets lingered. Mara clutched a faded photograph, the edges worn, the faces smiling back from a world lost. Suddenly, a faint sound, a child's laughter, echoed from the ruins ahead. Heart pounding, she followed it through twisted metal and shattered glass. There, among the shadows, a small boy emerged, wide-eyed and cautious. Mara offered a gentle smile. "I won't hurt you. I'm just looking for answers." The boy nodded slowly, stepping closer, tugging a ragged toy behind him. Together, they explored forgotten rooms, discovering a hidden garden still blossoming against all odds. Sunlight filtered through shattered ceilings, casting patterns on the cracked tiles. "Life finds a way," Mara murmured, hope stirring within her chest. In that quiet sanctuary, the past and future intertwined in fragile harmony. She knew rebuilding was impossible alone, but here, with this spark, anything could begin. As twilight fell, the boy led her to a makeshift camp, other survivors gathering cautiously. Eyes brightened at her arrival, whispered tales of hope and survival filling the air. Mara realized the city was not truly dead. It breathed in the hearts of those left. She raised her voice, steady and clear. "We'll rise together, stronger than before." The community around the dying embers of the old world kindled a new flame, and beneath the shattered sky, the forgotten city whispered its promise of rebirth. On a crisp autumn morning, Emily noticed something was missing. A cozy blue sweater she loved dearly. She searched her small cottage from corner to corner, lifting cushions and peeking under furniture. Outside, the sun was just beginning to warm the world, casting golden light through the window. Emily remembered yesterday's walk through the park and wondered if she might have left it there. Bundling up, she stepped outside, breathing in the fresh air, feeling the comforting chill of fall. She made her way to the park, where crunchy leaves carpeted the winding paths. As she walked, she greeted familiar faces. Mr. Jenkins tending his roses and little Mia chasing after a butterfly. Emily asked if anyone had seen her blue sweater. No one had yet, but they promised to keep an eye out. Just as doubt began to creep in, Emily spotted a flash of blue near the old oak tree. She hurried over and found her sweater caught on a low branch, gently swaying in the breeze. Relieved, she laughed softly. I suppose it wanted to see the sunrise too. On her way home, she wrapped the sweater around her shoulders, feeling its warmth return to her spirit. Back inside, she brewed a cup of tea and settled by the window, the sweater snug and familiar. The sunlight spilled in, filling the room with a golden glow that felt like a gentle hug. Emily smiled, realizing that sometimes small troubles lead to unexpected moments of peace. She thought, maybe I'll take more walks and let the world surprise me more often. Outside, leaves danced playfully, as if celebrating Emily's little adventure. The morning unfolded quietly, a perfect blend of warmth, light, and simple joy. And with that, the day seemed full of promise, wrapped up in the comfort of a lost and found sweater. Emily whispered to herself, sometimes, all you need is a little patience and a cozy sweater to brighten your morning. The sun hung low behind ash-choked clouds as Mara stepped cautiously through the deserted streets. Empty cars lay abandoned, their doors ajar, echoes of a world that once was. Her scavenged backpack weighed heavy, every step a reminder of how long she'd been alone. A faint noise caught her attention, footsteps. No, just the wind playing tricks on her senses. Memories of laughter and sunlight flooded back, sharp against the gray silence. Ahead, shadows moved, a flicker of life in the ruins. Heart-pounding, Mara called softly, "Hello? Anyone there?" From behind a crumbled wall, a boy emerged, eyes wide but curious. Relief washed over her as she lowered her guard, offering a tentative smile. "I've been looking for others," she said. "You're not alone anymore." Together they navigated the broken city, sharing stories and hope in whispered voices. A distant hum grew stronger. The generator at the old community center still worked. They hurried toward it, drawn by the promise of warmth, light, and perhaps others. Inside, a small group huddled around flickering lanterns, faces weary but alive. Mara's eyes met theirs, a spark of connection in a fractured world. "We thought we were the last," she breathed, stepping into the circle. The boy squeezed her hand, a silent vow to rebuild, to endure. Outside, the sky with titles she'd never heard of. Suddenly, a faint glow emerged from a book titled The Secrets of the Night Garden. Drawn in, Emma opened it and found a delicate map shimmering on the pages. "Follow the map," a soft voice echoed, as if the book itself invited her on an adventure. Guided by the map, Emma found a hidden door behind a bookshelf, leading to a small enchanting garden bathed in moonlight. Fireflies danced around whispering flowers, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of jasmine. Emma smiled, feeling calm and inspired, as if the garden whispered stories meant just for her. After a while, she returned to the library, the hidden door quietly closing behind her. The librarian nodded, saying, "Some secrets are meant to inspire quietly in the midnight hours." Emma felt the magic of that night linger as she picked out a regular book to borrow. Back home, she placed the glowing map on her desk, a reminder of the night's secret journey. As she turned off the light, she whispered, "Thank you for the adventure." The rain stopped, stars peeked through her window, and Emma drifted to sleep with a heart full of wonder. From then on, she visited the old library whenever the night seemed too quiet or lonely. Each visit brought a new whisper, a gentle nudge to explore stories beyond the pages. Emma had discovered not just books, but a world where magic and comfort lived side by side. And so, the Midnight Library became her secret harbor in the bustling world, always open to those who believe. Max bursts through the office door, a box of fresh donuts clutched in his hand, his crooked glasses teetering as he beams with anticipation. Ellie greets him cheerfully, her oversized sweater sleeves partially covering her hands as she eyes the tempting box and tucks a loose curl behind one ear. "Mr. Crumb storms in behind them, grumbling about looming deadlines, his coffee-stained tie flapping dramatically as he clutches a stack of documents. With a flourish, Max sets the donut box center stage on the shared desk, declaring them the perfect morale booster for a tough day ahead. Just as Max turns to fetch coffee, Ellie reaches eagerly for a pink frosted donut, but the box suddenly slides away from her grasp without explanation. Max and Ellie exchange bewildered glances as the donut box vanishes completely from the desk, leaving behind only a slight wobble where it sat. From the doorway, Mr. Crumb appears with a self-satisfied smirk, tapping his mustache knowingly yet denies any involvement in the mysterious disappearance. Determined, Max sets up a small webcam aimed exactly where the donut box had been, marking the spot with a familiar blue sticky note. Ellie quickly types a countdown timer into her laptop, ready to monitor any new attempts at stealing the office suites. Suddenly, the box snaps back onto the desk, but Max immediately spots one donut missing and squints suspiciously at the empty space. A shadow flashes past the window, catching everyone's attention and sparking whispered theories about ghosts haunting their office. Mr. Crumb's coffee mug slips, spilling a stained pattern across the desk that oddly seems to point toward the break room corner. Curious, Ellie tiptoes toward the break room, inspecting the coffee machine and examining scattered crumbs on the floor. Max studies the webcam footage, seeing a quick hand swipe, but the culprit's face remains frustratingly out of frame, deepening the puzzle. Teaming up, Max and Ellie plan a lunch hour stakeout, vowing to catch the elusive donut thief red-handed. During their surveillance, Max accidentally bumps a chair, clattering loudly and startling them both, yet no donut thief appears amidst the chaos. Ellie notices a trail of frosting smears, leading from the desk area toward the ventilation vent near the ceiling. Mr. Crumb insists again that he's innocent, offers a peace offering of donuts, but his fingers betray him with a subtle nervous twitch. Climbing a ladder, Max peers cautiously into the vent and discovers only dust bunnies and a crumpled blue sticky note doodled with a donut symbol. The office phone suddenly rings off the hook, forcing everyone to abandon their focus and answer in bursts of hurried chatter. Ellie rigs a donut-shaped trap on a chair, complete with a dangling string tied to a small bell, hoping it might alert them to the next thief. The trap activates, but instead of a stealing culprit, it unleashes a spray of confetti, startling the whole office and leaving everyone laughing nervously. Mr. Crumb admits he recently celebrated his niece's birthday with confetti, explaining the unexpected colorful explosion in the office. Though frustrated by the confetti chaos, Max and Ellie exchange determined looks, committed to uncovering the truth behind fitting the description well. With the donut box in hand, they cautiously advanced, ready for whatever awaited. Just as they crossed the threshold, the conference room door creaked loudly and snapped shut behind them, locking automatically without warning. The sudden confinement added a jolt of tension to the moment. Inside, the lights revealed a festive scene, a donut-themed surprise party meticulously arranged by Mr. Crumb to lift everyone's spirits. Donut decorations and cheerful banners transformed the space into a warm refuge. Ellie burst out laughing, the tension melting away as she realized the theft was a playful ruse by Mr. Crumb. This light-hearted prank had sparked unexpected excitement and joy in the office. Max examined the donut box, now brimming with an assortment of colorful treats, feeling gratitude mixed with amusement at the prank. The donuts that started the mystery were now the centerpiece of celebration. The trio exchanged goofy, knowing smiles as a playlist of funky tunes filled the room, inviting laughter and relaxed camaraderie. The atmosphere changed markedly from the week's earlier gloom. Ellie's gaze caught a discreetly positioned hidden camera, its lens capturing their surprised and joyful reactions. It seemed their moment was being immortalized for a future office memoir video. In his delight, Max bit into a jelly-filled donut only to have the filling squirt unexpectedly onto his glasses. The mishap drew bursts of laughter, adding to the cheer filling the room. Laughter spread freely among them, weaving a light-hearted vibe that had been missing all week. The simple joy of donuts and friendship rejuvenated their spirits. Mr. Crumb revealed a quirky donut trophy engraved with Best Office Prankster and handed it to Max, celebrating his unwitting role in the day's fun. The trophy was a symbol of their shared humor and team bond. Ellie pulled out a marker and began decorating the trophy with silly faces and captions, adding personal touches that made the prize even more endearing. Their creativity further cemented the moment's warmth. A timer on the wall quietly ticked down toward the end of the workday, a subtle reminder of time's swift passage amidst their joyful gathering. It anchored them back to office routines, albeit lighter than before. Max suggested turning their donut-driven antics into weekly traditions, aiming to sustain office morale with ongoing playful events. His proposal was met with enthusiastic nods, signaling a new chapter in their workspace culture. Ellie enthusiastically agreed, envisioning themed weeks featuring different snacks and silly competitions to keep the spirit lively and inclusive. Their teamwork promised fresh fun ahead. Mr. Crumb pledged to organize a monthly snack swap event, complete with costumes and music, ensuring variety and continued bonding. His commitment was met with cheers, revealing his deeper role in fostering joy. Together, they posed for a group photo holding the donut trophy, their broad smiles immortalizing the day's newfound camaraderie. The snapshot was a testament to their shared journey from mystery to celebration. As lights dimmed, they returned to their desks, still chuckling and exchanging leftover treats. The office felt transformed, lighter and more connected by the warmth they had created. Suddenly, the blue sticky note reappeared, now stuck on Max's computer monitor with a hand-drawn smiley face. Its return hinted at more surprises lurking just beneath the surface. Just then, the office printer whirred to life, ejecting a fresh message that read, "More surprises await." The cryptic line electrified the room with anticipation once more. Ellie leaned over to read the note aloud, her voice tinged with excitement and curiosity. The mysterious message promised that their day of fun was only just beginning. Mr. Crumb winked knowingly and raised his coffee mug in silent toast, signaling the start of ongoing merriment and teamwork in the office. His gesture unified them in shared anticipation of what was next. Max glanced at his watch, astonished at how swiftly the day had passed amid laughter and camaraderie. The unexpected joy marked a memorable turn in their normally routine work life. The camera slowly zooms out, revealing a clumsy robotic arm clutching another box of donuts. Its jerky movements hint at future shenanigans that await the office team. From a hidden speaker, a playful jingle begins to play, celebrating the joy of donuts. This confirms that a new prank system has been installed, bringing a lighthearted energy to the workspace. Ellie presses a button on her laptop with a grin, instantly activating colorful lights around the office. Donut shapes project across the walls, filling the room with vibrant, whimsical patterns. Mr. Crumb sets up a leaderboard on a computer screen, tracking upcoming donut-related challenges and achievements. His thick mustache twitches with delight as he imagines the friendly competition ahead. Gathered together, Max, Ellie, and Mr. Crumb plan their next donut-themed prank with gleeful enthusiasm and mock seriousness. Their camaraderie fills the room, turning the office into their playful stage. Suddenly, a small drone buzzes near the ceiling, gracefully delivering a fresh box of donuts labeled for the next mystery. The unexpected arrival adds a new twist to their unfolding adventures. All three exchange excited looks, the atmosphere now infused with playful energy and anticipation. The office feels alive, charged with the promise of fun and surprises. Ellie sneaks a bite from the drone-delivered box, then shares it with Max and Mr. Crumb as a warm peace gesture. Their smiles and laughter echo the strong bond forged over countless donut escapades. The camera centers on the blue sticky note near their workspace, now adorned with tiny donut stickers and a cheerful smile. It stands as a symbol of their shared journey and the mysteries yet to come. The scene fades out as laughter and lighthearted chatter fill the office. The promise of many more donut adventures lingers, leaving viewers with a sense of joyful anticipation. Ella wakes as dawn breaks, soft morning light filtering through her curtains, casting gentle shadows across her cozy bedroom. The faint ticking of an old wall clock melds with the quiet beginning of the day. Max, her golden retriever with a small scar above his right eye, stretches lazily at the foot of her bed. He senses the morning stirring, his red collar catching the early sun. Ella draws aside the curtains to watch Willow Lane slowly come to life, the street bathed in warm golden hues. Leaves flutter softly in the breeze, and the neighborhood seems wrapped in tranquility. Sitting by the window, she opens her worn journal and scribbles her morning thoughts, capturing the scent of fresh coffee mingling with the crisp dawn air. The silver streak in her hair gleams as she writes. Max lets out a soft bark, signaling his readiness for their morning walk. Ella smiles and nods, rising to prepare for their familiar outing. She dresses casually, tying a scarf that catches the light just right, illuminating the distinctive silver streak in her dark hair. The morning glow fills the room, promising a new day. Outside, Mrs. Green tends to her garden, humming an old tune while bees buzz lazily around her sunflowers. The sunflower-patterned tote bag swings gently from her arm as she works. Ella greets Mrs. Green warmly, accepting a small bouquet of wildflowers offered as a kind morning gift. The air fills with the rich scent of flowers and dew. Max darts ahead, chasing a fluttering leaf caught in the soft breeze, his bright red collar a vivid spot of color amidst the greenery. Ella laughs lightly, following behind. They reach the neighborhood park, alive with the sounds of children playing and laughter, blending with the rustle of leaves. The morning light dapples through tall trees, creating patches of shade and warmth. Curious, Ella spots a mysterious envelope tucked carefully beneath a park bench, its edges worn. The sight draws her attention amid the lively surroundings. She opens the envelope to find a handwritten letter inside, its message cryptic but strangely inviting, hinting at secrets waiting to be uncovered. The paper smells faintly of old parchment. Intrigued by the letter, Ella resolves to follow the instructions it contains, feeling a surge of excitement mixed with cautious anticipation. Max watches her intently, sensing the change in mood. Max tilts his head, his expression reflecting both excitement and uncertainty as Ella shares her decision. The familiar ticking of the old clock seems far away now. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, they set off toward the first location mentioned in the letter, determination shining in Ella's eyes. The morning light shifts, warming the path ahead. Ella arrives at an antique bookstore, where towering shelves and the glow of warm lamplight create an inviting atmosphere. The scent of old books surrounds her like a treasured secret. She shares a silent exchange with the shopkeeper, who subtly places a faded photograph into her hand. The moment lingers with quiet significance. Studying the photograph, Ella recognizes a familiar street corner from her childhood, nostalgia mingling with a flicker of curiosity. Shadows lengthen gently in the fading light. Suddenly, a light rain shower begins, sending patrons indoors as droplets patter against the windows. Ella steps under a nearby awning, the scent of rain mingling with aged paper in her hands. As rain falls steadily, she reads further in the letter, discovering a hidden message that only reveals itself when wet. The words shimmer faintly, guiding her next steps. Max shakes off the rain and trots purposefully toward an old tree in the park, his nose to the ground. Ella follows closely, the damp air alive with fresh life. Approaching the tree, Ella finds a carved symbol matching one corner of the photograph, its grooves darkened by moisture. A chill of anticipation runs through her as she reaches out. Tracing the symbol with her finger, her touch causes a small compartment in the tree to unlock with a soft click. Her heart beats faster at the unexpected discovery. Inside the compartment rests a tiny key and a folded map adorned with intricate markings, revealing a path yet to be taken. The map's paper crinkles softly, wet from the rain but intact. Ella and Max exchange a determined glance, their shared resolve strengthened by the unfolding mystery. Together, they set out to uncover the secrets hidden within the map's delicate lines. Ella and Max follow the winding path, arriving at a closed gate overgrown with tangled vines and rusty ironwork. The morning light filters gently through the leaves, casting soft shadows on the ground as the old wall clock's ticking can be faintly heard. With a quiet click, Ella fits the tarnished key into the lock and opens the gate, revealing a hidden garden veiled in a gentle mist. The scene mirrors Mrs. Green's garden, but holds an air of mystery beneath the soft light of dawn. Near the center, a weathered bench cradles a faded scarf, its pattern strikingly similar to Ella's own style. The scent of fresh coffee seems to linger faintly, mingling with the earthy aroma of damp soil. Suddenly, a light breeze carries the delicate melody of a distant music box, its notes drifting through the mist like a whispered secret. Ella pauses, eyes closed, letting the gentle tune guide her steps. Following the melody, Ella discovers a small wooden box resting atop a moss-covered stone pedestal. The box's surface is worn smooth, but the red collar she sees on Max reminds her to approach with care. Opening the box, Ella finds a bundle of letters tied with a faded ribbon, their jagged edges hinting at truths folded away for decades. The wall clock's ticking seems to slow as the morning light brightens around her. One letter among them is addressed directly to Ella, penned in handwriting that stirs a familiarity deep within her. Her hands tremble slightly as the scent of aged paper fills the air. Her heartbeat quickens, memories long buried surfacing with the unfolding words. The silver streak in her hair catches the morning light, reflecting a moment of quiet resolve. Max barks softly, nuzzling her gently, grounding her amidst the overwhelming emotions. The music box melody fades, leaving the gentle ticking of the clock and the rustle of leaves. The letter hints at unfinished stories and a promise of reunion beneath the willow tree at dusk. The anticipation grows as Ella absorbs the weight of these revelations. With Max by her side, Ella navigates familiar streets bathed in the warm hues of afternoon light. Each step quickens with the growing anticipation woven through the soft glow around them. Neighbors pass by, some offering knowing smiles while others cast curious glances. The sunflower-patterned tote bags sway gently in the breeze, linking the community in shared secrets. At the willow tree, in the shifting light, Ella finds an old friend standing quietly, hands trembling with restrained emotion. The sun casts long, gentle shadows that seem to embrace the moment. Their embrace speaks volumes, years of emotions surfacing in silence, a bridge rebuilt with shared understanding. The ticking clock echoes softly as the gentle scent of coffee and earth surrounds them. Ella unfolds the letters between them, revealing intertwined tales of friendship, loss, and hope. Words flow like the melody of the distant music box, binding past and present in the glow of fading daylight. Together, they plant a small seed beneath the willow, a living symbol of new beginnings amidst the soft afternoon light. Max settles nearby, his scar gleaming faintly as the breeze stirs the leaves gently overhead. Shadows lengthen as the sun dips lower, deepening the colors around the willow tree. The old clock's steady ticking blends with the rustling foliage, marking the passage of time with comforting rhythm. Ella's worn journal opens anew, pages blank and inviting, ready to embrace stories yet untold. The silver streak in her hair gleams in the last light, a quiet witness to the day's unfolding. Max curls peacefully at their feet, serene and content amid the tranquil scene. The scent of sunflowers from Mrs. Green's tote mingles with the cool evening air. Twilight deepens the sky to a velvety blue, stars beginning to twinkle like scattered notes in a silent melody. The gentle ticking of the old clock seems to soften with the arrival of night. Ella breathes in the cool evening air, reflecting on the day's mysterious discoveries and the threads woven through her heart. The soft glow of the setting sun lingers in her thoughtful eyes. Mrs. Green approaches with a gentle smile, her sunflower-patterned tote bag swinging lightly as she hands Ella a steaming cup of tea. Warmth spreads within, echoing the kindness in her eyes and the day's gentle light. They sit beneath the willow tree, sharing quiet conversation marked by gentle laughter and knowing glances. The music box melody feels just out of reach, a tender echo weaving through the night air. From Ella's bag, the old wall clock ticks softly, a steady reminder of the comfort found in returning home. The intertwining scents of coffee and fresh earth settle around them as the moment lingers. Ella closes her eyes briefly, savoring the delicate connection anchoring her heart and the promise of stories yet to unfold. The twilight sky above offers a quiet witness, stars twinkling obediently in the gentle night. As Ella inhaled deeply, the familiar scent of jasmine wafted through the air, suddenly unlocking a vivid memory from her childhood. This fragrance transported her back to a secret moment long forgotten, revealing a connection to her past she had never fully understood. In the flashback, a younger Ella and a childhood friend sat beneath the sprawling branches of the willow tree, sharing whispered promises and dreams. Their bond was tender and unspoken, sealed with hopes of a future where their differences would no longer matter. Awakening to the present, Ella grasped the true significance of the letters she had found. They were more than words, they were bridges to heal wounds left untouched. Understanding their power filled her with an urge to mend what time had frayed. Max nudged her hand gently with his nose, his warm brown eyes steady and reassuring. His presence was a comforting anchor, pulling Ella back from the depths of memory into the gentle morning light surrounding them. With renewed resolve, Ella made the heartfelt decision to reach out and reconcile with those she had once parted from. Embracing the future meant letting go of old grievances and welcoming the possibility of peace. Together with her friends, Ella began drafting plans to restore the hidden garden near the willow tree, transforming it into a shared sanctuary of growth and connection. The project symbolized new beginnings and the strength found in community. They organized a small gathering, inviting neighbors and friends to join in the celebration of renewal and hope. The gentle ticking of the old wall clock matched the anticipation that fluttered through Willow Lane as invitations spread. As dusk settled, laughter and music floated through the air, mingling with the soft glow of lanterns strung between the trees. The community came alive, united under the embrace of the willow's watchful branches and the warm morning light now fading into evening. Sitting quietly, Ella penned the final entry in her journal, capturing the day's unfolding joy and the healing she felt within. With each word, she closed a chapter marked by uncertainty and welcomed one illuminated by gratitude and hope. Night folded Willow Lane into a peaceful hush, with the willow tree standing tall and steadfast as witness to stories both past and new. Under the starlit sky, the gentle ticking of the clock and the lingering scent of jasmine promised that this was just the beginning. In the heart of the ancient forest stood the whispering oak, its vast branches swaying even when the air was still. Ilara, a young mapmaker from the nearby village, ventured to the tree, drawn by tales of its mysterious murmurs. She reached the tree just as twilight painted the sky in purple hues, the whispers growing louder in the fading light. Leaning close, she could make out words woven with stories of lost lands and forgotten magic. Intrigued, Alara pressed her ear to the bark, and a sudden warmth spread through her fingertips. The tree revealed a secret map etched within its rings, visible only to those who listened with an open heart. Alara traced the delicate lines, and suddenly the map shimmered, unfolding a path to a hidden glade. Determined, she set off along the trail, leaves crunching underfoot, guided by the oak's gentle whispers. The forest seemed alive, shadows dancing and stars peeking through the canopy above. After crossing a silver stream and climbing mossy stones, Alara arrived at the glade bathed in moonlight. At its center stood a stone pedestal bearing an ancient key, glowing softly under the night sky. She reached out, fingers trembling, and took the key, feeling a pulse of magic coursing through her veins. The whispering oak's voice echoed gently. "With this, you unlock more than doors, you unlock destinies." Alara smiled, understanding the journey was just beginning, but the mapmaker's curiosity was her true compass. Returning home at dawn, the forest alive with morning light, she held the key close, ready for the next adventure. Villagers noticed a new spark in her eyes, tales spreading about the girl who spoke to trees and followed whispers. Alara knew the oak's secret was safe with her, a bridge between worlds waiting to be crossed again. And every so often, when the breeze stirred just right, the whispering oak called to her once more. "Remember," it would say softly, "the greatest maps are drawn with courage and heart." With a newfound purpose, Alara set her quill to parchment, ready to chart the wonders hidden beyond the known world. The rain tapped rhythmically against the cracked window of Jake's cluttered office, a pale glow from the street lamp slicing through the fog. Jake lit a cigarette, the smoke curling upwards as he wondered why the dame had walked in looking like trouble with a capital T. She slid a photograph across the desk, eyes darting nervously. "Find him," she whispered, voice trembling more than her hands. Jake examined the photo, a man with a crooked smile, standing in an alleyway Jake knew too well. No questions asked, no promises made, but the cash in her hand decided the rest. The trail led to neon-lit bars and shadowed backstreets, whispers of the crooked smiles, misdeeds crawling through the city's underbelly. A bartender with tired eyes passed a coded note between gritted teeth. "He's not alone." Jake's fingers brushed the cool barrel of his. 38 under the coat, a quiet reassurance in the stormy night. At the docks, moonlight danced on water slick with oil. A meeting was set, stakes higher than ever. The crooked smile appeared, flanked by two goons whose silence screamed danger. Quick words exchanged, then a sudden scuffle, fists and fears colliding in the mist. Jake ducked, rolling beneath a swing, the crackle of gunfire sinking with his pounding heart. Amid the chaos, he caught a glimpse of the dame, eyes wide, fighting shadows of her own. A flash of steel, a gasp, and then the crooked smile's desperate plea for mercy. Jake stepped back, breathing heavy. "This city's got secrets," he said, "but it's time someone told the truth." With the crooked smile tied up and the dame safe, dawn began to pry open the night's secrets. Jake watched the horizon blush with morning, the rain finally stopping. "Case closed," he muttered, pocketing the last of the damning evidence, the city breathing easier for a moment. As the dame disappeared into the awakening streets, Jake lit another cigarette, ready for whatever night would throw next. "In a city of shadows," he mused, "sometimes the only light is knowing you did the right thing." Lena leaned over the cluttered workstation, her sharp eyes following a shifting constellation on the holographic star map. Her finger traced the lines carefully, sensing an unsettling change in the familiar celestial patterns. Kale focused intently as he tightened bolts on his mechanical arm adjustment. Sparks briefly flickered, illuminating the faint scar above his left eyebrow, his stoic expression unwavering despite the growing urgency. Dr. Myerk stepped into the dimly lit lab, his gaze fixed on a machine pulsating with ethereal energy. The glow bathed his high-collared lab coat, his round spectacles reflecting the mysterious light. Suddenly, the ancient compass device strapped to Lena's wrist began to pulse erratically. Its shifting shadows cast an eerie glow on her weathered leather jacket as the light intensified and dimmed unpredictably. Outside the observatory, the sky distorted as a temporal anomaly twisted the stars into shimmering, unnatural patterns. The familiar nightscape warped, sending a chill through the crew within. Lena and Kale exchanged uneasy glances as a bright star blinked out on the star map in real time. Their synchronized watches ticked irregularly, echoing the growing instability. Myrick nervously examined fluctuating data on a holographic screen, illustrating rapid shifts in time and space stability. Lines of code and star charts flickered, mirroring their rising concern. Clutching the glowing compass, Lena watched as it projected fragmented images of unfamiliar locations. The device's erratic glow hinted at mysteries beyond their understanding. In the cramped quarters, the team debated heatedly, tension mounting as the anomalies corrupted their instruments. Voices overlapped, each aware that the stakes were climbing dangerously higher. Kale interfaced his mechanical arm with the compass, attempting to stabilize the chaotic signals. His brow furrowed with determination as sparks danced from the connection. Outside, the landscape vibrated subtly, a low hum permeating the air and unsettling the crew's nerves. Even the walls seemed to pulse in rhythm with the unseen disturbance. Without warning, a power surge caused the lab's lights to flicker wildly. Fleeting shadows moved unnaturally within the bursts of light, leaving an eerie impression on all present. Lena received a cryptic message on her wrist device, coordinates that shifted unpredictably, defying logic. The revelation deepened the mystery as she stared at the elusive numbers. Myrick's voice was grave as he warned of the impending meridian shift, a rare cosmic event with the power to alter reality itself. The weight of his words hung heavy in the sterile air. The crew prepared hastily to embark on a mission to the anomaly's epicenter, acutely aware that failure might disrupt time permanently. The atmosphere was thick with determination and unspoken fears. They boarded their sleek ship and launched toward the elusive coordinates, the compass glowing steadily to guide their path through the void. The ship's engines hummed with restrained power as stars blurred past. Approaching the anomaly, star maps warped visibly in the cockpit, and the ship's controls responded sluggishly. Lena's fingers danced over worn instruments as Kale kept steady despite the strain. Erratic spatial readings flickered on Lena's monitor, while Kale recalibrated the propulsion system under intense stress. The pressure of their task was evident in every precise movement. Suddenly, a blast wave from the anomaly rocked the ship violently, throwing the crew off balance. Equipment clattered and warning lights flashed, demanding immediate control adjustments. Myrick consulted the ancient compass, now glowing intensely and projecting complex star patterns swirling midair. The cryptic display hinted at turbulence far beyond their expectations. Through the ship's viewfinder appeared a visual loop of a distant celestial event, endlessly repeating with unsettling clarity. The scene blurred the line between present and past, deepening the crew's unease. Communication systems began failing intermittently, isolating the crew within the ship. Static and dead air replaced meaningful signals, raising tensions across the confined space. Lena spotted a flicker on the star map resembling a past event, possibly a memory or a warning. The team debated its cryptic meaning, uncertainty knitting furrowed brows. Ignoring warnings of space-time distortion, Kale attempted a risky maneuver to stabilize the ship's trajectory. His mechanical arm moved with precise urgency as the ship groaned under stress. The ship passed through a shimmering veil, and for a brief moment, the crew glimpsed alternate versions of themselves. The fleeting visions left them questioning reality as their synchronized watches ticked wildly out of sync. Dr. Myrick's voice cut through the ship's low hum with a dire warning. Crossing the meridian threshold risked trapping them in a temporal feedback loop from which there was no escape. He emphasized that the ancient compass they relied upon might be their only safeguard. Lena exchanged a determined glance with Kale, knowing the stakes had just risen immensely. Suddenly, the holographic compass emitted a sharp, high-pitched tone that resonated through the ship's decks. The shifting star maps aligned perfectly for a brief moment, revealing a concealed path hidden within the cosmic tapestry. The corridor through time and space shimmered like an invitation and a perilous gamble. Lena gripped the controls tightly, steering the vessel through the unveiled course. Each moment brought surges of gravitational distortion, the ship straining against invisible pressures that threatened to tear them apart. Her eyes never left the glowing compass, its light flickering as the anomalies intensified. Without warning, alarms blared, systems began to fail one after another. Kale sprang into action, his mechanical arm whirring as he improvised repairs on the erratic conduits amid the fluctuating time streams. Shifts in gravity and time warped his perception, but he worked with relentless precision. The environment around them began to flicker wildly, alternating between the ship's current state and fleeting glimpses of past moments aboard the vessel. Lena caught ghostly images of their distant origin world, fragmented and ephemeral, like echoes trapped in a loop. This temporal dissonance unsettled them all, reminding them of the fragile boundary they now crossed. Mayurk studied the ancient compass intently, uncovering new data hidden within its quantum readings. He theorized it was resonating with quantum echoes left by explorers who had ventured here before, their temporal footprints embedded in the device's core. This revelation changed their understanding of the anomaly's depths. The crew gathered to debate their next move, torn between risking a temporal jump out of the anomaly's heart and the terrifying possibility of being erased entirely. Fear mingled with resolve. Any misstep could mean losing not just their lives, but their existence. The dilemma weighed heavily on every mind and soul aboard. As tension thickened, Lena's compass suddenly displayed an unfamiliar symbol, radiating a cool blue luminescence. This new glyph seemed to unlock additional data on the star map, revealing alternate routes and subtle shifts previously obscured. It was a clue, and perhaps a key, to navigating the chaotic currents ahead. Without warning, Kale vanished from view, leaving only an empty echo in the corridor. Moments later, he reappeared dazed, his memories fragmented and tinged with images from an alternate timeline of their journey. His brief absence cast a shadow of dread across the crew, signaling the anomaly's unpredictable reach. Mayurk assembled the fragmented clues and proposed a disturbing theory. The anomaly fractured time itself into parallel streams, each threatening to overwrite their singular reality. The fabric of their existence might be unraveling, replaced by alternate versions slipping into their world. This revelation heightened the urgency of their mission. The ship's interiors convulsed in impossible ways. Corridors bent and merged, walls twisted in fractal patterns that defied logic and physics. Stepping through doorways felt like traversing shifting gateways between moments, each more disorienting than the last. Lena clung tightly to the ancient compass as it projected a star map that began to stabilize amid the chaos. The shifting lines slowly formed a coherent path, signaling a tenuous safe route through the temporal labyrinth. With cautious hope, they prepared to follow the compass's new guidance. Kale's voice grew urgent as he warned them all. They needed to act fast before their identities started blending with alternate versions of themselves. The risk of losing one's sense of self became more than theory, it was a looming reality. Time was slipping away faster than they dared imagine. Synchronizing their irregularly ticking watches, the crew set a coordinated countdown to time their leap through the heart of the anomaly. Each second carried immense weight as they prepared for a maneuver that could either save them or condemn their existence. The tension was palpable, the silence before the storm absolute. An intense surge erupted, flinging the ship forward through a kaleidoscopic storm of temporal fragments. Past, present, and future flickered wildly in the vessel's hull, a dizzying swirl of moments collapsing and rebounding against the hull. Every fiber of the crew's being was tested, as reality itself seemed to fracture around them. Through the chaos, Mayurk managed to stabilize a core device, harnessing the anomaly's restless energy into a controlled rift. The ship sagged under the power as the device pulled a steady stream of quantum force into the breach they sought to create. This fragile control was their best hope for escape. Gazing through the rift, the crew caught a glimpse of a future warped nearly beyond recognition, the world they knew altered and broken. Silent cities, strange skies, and unfamiliar stars haunted the vision, a warning of what might come if their mission failed. The weight of their task was written in those fleeting images. Resolute, Lena vowed to preserve their reality by recalibrating the compass, using it to reverse the anomaly's relentless corruption. She studied the device closely, deciphering subtle fluctuations and guiding the adjustment with careful precision. The path to salvation depended on her success. Kale readied the ship for the upcoming temporal burst, a critical surge of energy needed to close the rift safely. Every system was checked and reinforced, his mechanical arm humming as it prepared to deliver the final pulse. The crew steeled themselves for what was to come, trusting each other implicitly. As the crew initiated their plan, the anomaly reacted violently, thrashing unpredictably against their intervention. The ship trembled and groaned beneath the strain, the very fabric of space-time shuddering in resistance. They braced for impact, hearts pounding with both fear and determination. The ancient compass blazed white-hot, pouring radiant waves through the vessel's structure that rippled like sonic pulses. Its light illuminated every corner, combating the darkness of temporal distortion with fierce brilliance. This surge of power was both a beacon and a shield against the unfolding chaos. Time itself began to mend around them. The star maps ceased their erratic shifts, freezing into stable and familiar patterns once more. The pervasive sense of fracture lifted slowly, the corridor of uncertainty gradually solidifying into clarity. Relief began to replace the dread that had gripped the crew. Lena expertly maneuvered the ship through the anomaly's now calm heart, racing against the imminent collapse of overlapping timelines. Every star and coordinate aligned as they sailed through the fragile corridor, the compass guiding like a steadfast ancient guardian. Each second was a victory in preserving their reality. Myrick tracked the crew's vital signs against the backdrop of fading distortions, confirming the singular reality strand remained intact. His relief was tempered by cautious vigilance, knowing the anomaly's effects could still surprise them. The crew's unity and endurance had preserved more than just their lives, they had preserved existence itself. Kale activated the final pulse from his mechanical arm, a surge of energy designed to seal the rift once and for all. The ship vibrated as the breach closed, the infinite fracturing of time snapping back into a singular flow. Their ordeal was ending, though shadowed by mysteries yet unrevealed. The anomaly finally collapsed in on itself, disappearing like a fading shadow. Outside the observatory's viewport, the stars shimmered steadily, undisturbed for the first time in weeks. Lena's gaze fixed on the holographic compass resting on the table as its glow softened to a gentle pulse. The device's dim light signified that the chaotic flux of time had balanced once more. Kale and Dr. Myrick exchanged relieved glances, their synchronized watches clicking with steady, even ticks after the previous irregularities. The certainty of normal time flow reassured them both. Back inside the observatory, the star map displayed a stable cosmic skyline, familiar constellations locked in their usual positions. The shifting patterns had ceased, confirming the universe's calm return. The crew methodically logged their experiences in the ship's records, emphasizing the compass's crucial role as a temporal anchor throughout the ordeal. Its importance was undeniable for navigating time's fragile currents. Quietly and with care, Lena slid the compass into her jacket pocket, mindful of its power and the responsibility to protect it. The weight of guarding such a device settled on her shoulders. Meanwhile, Myrick studied a subtle residual temporal anomaly detected in his lab. Though minor and far less threatening, it served as a sober reminder of their vulnerability to time's unpredictable forces. Kale set to work upgrading the ship's systems, applying insights gained about temporal mechanics and anomaly stabilization. His mechanical arm adjusted tools with practiced precision as innovation took shape. Under a calm and steady night sky, the team shared a quiet moment of camaraderie, their bond fortified by the challenges they'd endured together. The stars above seemed to witness their renewed unity. Lena gazed thoughtfully at the constellations, aware that the universe still held countless mysteries beyond their reach. Yet, for now, time itself was theirs to guard, a precious frontier guarded by steadfast vigilance. Mara moved into the abandoned cottage at the edge of town, dismissing the locals' warnings as mere superstition. The air was thick with fog that seemed to cling to the crooked trees surrounding her new home. Nightfall brought an uneasy silence, broken only by the faint rustle of leaves and distant howls. On her first night, Mara heard a soft whispering that seemed to come from the walls themselves. She pressed her ear against the cold wooden surface, catching fragments of desperate voices calling her name. The whispers spoke of pain and forgotten secrets buried beneath the earth. Determined to prove herself immune to superstition, Mara explored the basement the next day. The air was damp and smelled of mildew, but something deeper drew her toward a loose floorboard. She pried it open to reveal a small, dusty box wrapped in faded cloth. Inside the box lay a bundle of brittle papers and an old locket that clicked ominously when opened. The letters detailed the tragic life of a young girl named Eliza, vanished from the town decades ago. Her final note begged for release from a curse that chained her soul to the hollow beneath the cottage. That night, the whispers turned into mournful wails that shook the windows and rattled doors. Shadows flickered unnaturally across the walls, and the temperature seemed to plummet. Mara clutched the locket, feeling a cold energy seep into her fingertips. As the clock struck midnight, the floor beneath Mara creaked under invisible weight. From the darkness emerged a pale figure with hollow eyes, her voice barely above a sigh. "Help me," she pleaded, her form dissolving like mist around Mara's feet. Fear rooted Mara in place, but she forced herself to remember the letters and Eliza's plea. The cursed spirit was bound to the hollow beneath the house, trapped by unspoken grief and betrayal. To break the curse, Mara needed to uncover the truth hidden in the past. By daybreak, Mara scoured the town archives, piecing together a story of jealousy, deceit, and a heartbroken father who had condemned Eliza to silence. The betrayal was etched in every document and whispered by the wind itself. Returning to the cottage, Mara carried with her a framed photograph of Eliza and a fragile white rose. She placed them beneath the loose floorboard and whispered a prayer for forgiveness and peace. The air thickened, and the cottage seemed to breathe alongside her. Night enveloped the cottage once more, but this time the uneasy silence was replaced by a gentle warmth. The whispers now sounded like a soft lullaby, soothing and peaceful. Mara felt unseen eyes watching, but no longer with malice. Suddenly, from the corner of the room, a faint glow formed into Eliza's spirit, her expression transformed with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered softly, before slowly dissolving into a cascade of shimmering lights. Mara's heart pounded with relief and awe. Days passed with calm settling over the hollow. Mara noticed flowers blooming where none had before, and the oppressive fog lifted, revealing crisp morning light. The town seemed lighter too, as if a shadow had been lifted from its history. Though the cottage was no longer haunted, Mara felt a permanent connection to the place and its quiet guardian. She kept the locket on a chain around her neck as a reminder of that night and the souls who had once been trapped. It was a symbol of her courage and compassion. Word spread quietly of Mara's bravery, turning whispered warnings into tales of respect for the past. The neighbors began visiting, offering help and sharing their own stories. The cottage became a fragile bridge between memory and healing. On one cloudy evening, Mara found a new note tucked beneath her door, a single line written in familiar handwriting. "You freed me, now guide others who still wander." The message stirred hope and resolve deep within her. From that night forward, Mara made it her mission to seek out places touched by sorrow and forgotten pain. Each encounter tested her spirit and revealed that the restless spirits were not to be feared, but understood. Their stories mattered. In time, Mara's life became entwined with the unseen world, a guardian between the living and the lost. She learned to listen beyond the whispers and see the shadows not as threats, but as echoes of human anguish needing release. Her nights were no longer haunted by fear, but filled with purpose. The whispers from the hollow became a call to healing instead of despair. Though the darkness never fully disappeared, Mara's light shone steady against it. One evening, as she lit a candle by the window, Mara felt a soft breeze swirl and carry a faint voice of thanks. She smiled, knowing that the souls she had touched whispered their gratitude in the quiet moments of dawn. And so the hollow story was rewritten, a tale of sorrow transformed into hope, where even the darkest places could find peace through the courage of a single soul. Mara closed the door, holding the warmth of that promise close to her heart. The old lighthouse stood towering against the stormy sky as Meyer approached, her heart racing with anticipation. She clutched a worn leather map, its edges frayed from years of searching for the rumored treasure hidden nearby. Lightning cracked overhead, illuminating the daunting steps spiraling up the lighthouse's narrow shaft. Maya hesitated, but then pressed her hand on the cold metal railing, beginning her ascent. As she climbed, whispers of the past seemed to echo through the walls, urging her forward. At the top, the door creaked open, revealing a dusty lantern and a faded journal resting on a wooden table. She flipped open the journal, discovering entries from a lighthouse keeper who spoke of a secret passage beneath the rocks. Without delay, Maya descended carefully, her boots echoing in the empty tower. Outside, rain battered her face as she followed the journal's directions toward the cliff's edge. A narrow cave entrance lay hidden behind a curtain of ivy, just as the journal described. Lighting her lantern, Maya stepped inside, the walls closing in around her as she ventured deeper. Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a cavern glowing with the shimmer of countless shells and glittering stones. In the center, a chest lay half buried in sand, its lock rusted but intact. With a deep breath, she pried it open, revealing an assortment of old coins, maps, and a compass unlike any she had seen. Maya smiled, realizing the true treasure was the adventure and the history she uncovered. She carefully packed the items, planning to share the story and preserve the legacy of the lighthouse keeper. As she exited the cave, the storm was clearing, and the first rays of dawn painted the sky in soft gold. Maya looked back once more at the lighthouse, feeling a profound connection to its silent sentinel. "Some secrets are worth the journey," she whispered, tucking the journal safely into her pack. With a steady heart, she walked away, ready for whatever new adventure awaited beyond the horizon. The rain slammed against the city, like a warning, neon signs flickering through the haze. Jake Morgan lit a cigarette, the smoke curling like a question mark in the dim light. He didn't expect company at midnight, least of all a dame with secrets in her eyes. "I need your help," she said, voice trembling, clutching a faded photograph. Morgan studied the photo. A man, vanished without a trace 5 years ago. "Why come to me now?" he asked, flicking ash into a cracked tin can. She hesitated, then whispered, "Because the shadows are closing in." Days blurred into nights, as Jake hunted clues across rain-slick streets and smoky bars. Each lead tangled deeper into a web of lies, betrayal, and long-buried sins. The city's underbelly pulsed with danger, but Morgan was no stranger to the darkness. One alley, one fistfight, one whispered tip later, he found himself staring down a crooked cop. "You're out of your depth," the cop sneered, holster empty but menace full. Morgan cracked a grin. "Maybe, but someone's gotta dive deep." In the bleak basement of a forgotten warehouse, the truth waited in cold silence. The missing man was alive, chained by debts and addicted to silence. Reunion was bittersweet, shadowed by the price paid for freedom. Back in the rain-soaked streets, Morgan handed the dame the man she'd lost. She smiled faintly. "Thanks for bringing light to the shadows." Jake lit another cigarette, the glow a small defiance against the dark city. "All in a night's work," he murmured, disappearing into the rain and neon blur. Leora stood beneath the night sky, her silver hair shimmering softly as unfamiliar constellations stretched above in a dance of celestial light. Her luminous blue eyes traced the intricate patterns, feeling a pull she couldn't yet explain. In the quiet of the village, elders whispered in hushed tones about an ancient prophecy tied to the stars that had begun to fall from the heavens. Their voices carried a mix of fear and hope, hinting at destinies intertwined with the cosmos. Near the roots of a massive ancient oak, Leora discovered a pendant glowing softly with a pulsating light. The silver pendant matched one she had always worn, but this new glow seemed alive, responding to her touch. Kalen arrived just as the firelight flickered against his flame-red hair and bronze skin. With a serious tone, he warned of a looming shadow threatening to engulf their world, his gaze heavy with urgency. In the village square, the Starborn amulet suddenly emerged, casting a radiant blue light that danced over the cobblestones. The glow was mesmerizing, illuminating the faces of onlookers with hope and dread. From the depths of the dark woods, Mara silently watched, her violet eyes reflecting the amulet's shimmering light. Cloaked in shadows, her presence was both ominous and unseen by the villagers. An uneasy silence fell as the night sky dimmed, stars vanishing one after another till only darkness remained. The villagers felt a growing unrest, as if the world's balance was slipping away with each fading star. Seeking answers, Leora approached Kalen, her voice trembling with uncertainty. He reluctantly revealed her connection to a celestial lineage that was beginning to vanish from existence, deepening the weight of her destiny. Under Kaylin's stern guidance, Leora began to harness the power of her pendant, the surrounding stars flickering in response to her awakening abilities. Each lesson strengthened her bond with the cosmos, yet the challenges ahead loomed large. Mara unleashed shadowy creatures from the darkness, their forms twisting and creeping as they surged toward the amulet. Chaos erupted as villagers scrambled, the tranquility of the night shattered by the assault. Together, Leora and Kaylin fought fiercely to protect the amulet, but with every strike, its radiant glow weakened. The amulet's dimming light cast doubt over their struggle, making victory seem more distant than ever. Suddenly, the celestial mirror flickered to life, revealing a cryptic message etched in glowing runes that hinted at a realm beyond the stars. The mysterious script beckoned them toward an otherworldly journey. Compelled by the message, Leora touched the mirror's surface, triggering a shimmering portal that revealed an ethereal landscape bathed in starlight. The realm beyond was both breathtaking and unsettling in its shifting beauty. Kaylin insisted they step through the portal together, knowing the fate of their world depended on restoring the stars that were fading. Despite the dangers ahead, their determination was unwavering. As they crossed the threshold, Mara's distant laugh echoed through the star realm, a chilling reminder that their trials were only beginning. Her promise of challenge hung heavy in the celestial air. The star realm unfolded with shifting skies and impossible terrain, each moment testing Leora's resolve and adaptability. The very landscape seemed alive, its challenges crafted to probe her strength and spirit. Leora's silver pendant began to glow brighter, its light pulsing in response to hidden celestial paths that revealed themselves only to her. This newfound guidance was a beacon amidst the realm's perplexing shifts. Kaylin confronted illusions conjured by Mara, his flame-red hair blazing fiercely as his fire met their intensity. Each battle was a test of will, his flames pushing back the consuming shadows. Together, they discovered ancient runes carved into celestial stones, indicating the starborn amulet must be recharged at the heart of stars. This revelation set their course deeper into the realm's mysteries. An unexpected alliance formed as starborn creatures emerged, their forms radiant and ethereal, offering guidance through the perilous landscape. Their presence brought hope and new knowledge on the path ahead. Suddenly, Mara's shadowy figure appeared once more, disrupting the traveler's path and shattering a section of the celestial bridge they needed to cross. The obstacle threatened to sever their progress abruptly. Drawing on the strength of her celestial lineage, Leora used her pendant's light to mend the fractured bridge. Her connection to the stars pulsed stronger than ever, enabling her to restore the path with care and resolve. They soon faced a harrowing trial where Leora was forced to confront her deepest fears, each reflection cast in shimmering starlight. This intimate challenge tested her courage and inner strength beyond physical battles. By overcoming her doubt and fear, Leora unlocked a new level of power, her pendant now radiating with pure, unwavering light. This luminous transformation marked a turning point in their quest. In a final act of sacrifice, Kaylin extinguished his fiery flame to illuminate a hidden cavern leading closer to the heart of stars. His fading light carved a path through darkness, underscoring the gravity of their mission. Mara raised her arms, summoning a starless storm that swallowed the night sky in utter darkness. The winds howled with abyssal force, threatening to consume Leora and Kaylin in its relentless void. Celestial stars vanished as the glowing runes dimmed, and the shifting realms trembled under the threat. Seeking refuge, Leora and Kaylin found shelter within a cavern adorned with ancient murals illuminated by faint rune light. The walls depicted the birth of their world's stars, weaving a story etched in glowing symbols and shimmering celestial patterns. The night sky outside remained cloaked in deep shadows. As they traced the murals, they uncovered the tale of Mara's fall, once a revered star guardian engulfed by darkness. Her radiant form had twisted into shadow, consumed by despair and regret. This revelation cast a solemn light on the storm they now faced. Leora, her silver pendant catching a subtle glow, reached out with heartfelt empathy toward the darkness that held Mara captive. Her gentle voice carried through the shifting atmosphere, planting a fragile seed of doubt within Mara's resolve. The amulet pulsed faintly with this hopeful energy. Mara's shadow wavered, flickering between vicious rage and hesitant sorrow. The internal conflict stirred as Leora's words touched the core beneath the darkness. For a moment, the storm's fury softened, and stars began to faintly shimmer once more. Patches of stars re-emerged along their path, guiding them closer to the heart of stars. The celestial forge radiated with pulsating cosmic energy, suffusing the air with a mix of hope and lingering tension. The realms shifted subtly, the atmosphere alive with anticipation. Without warning, Mara's minions ambushed them, shadows darting amidst the stars like dark meteors. In the narrow escape, Kalen sustained a wound that dimmed his fiery glow. Despite the chaos, they pressed onward, shadows closing behind them. Leora knelt beside Kalen, her luminous blue eyes steady as she channeled gentle light to stabilize his weakened flame. Their bond deepened, each heartbeat syncing with the glow of her silver pendant and his flickering fire. The cosmic energy around them responded to their unified strength. They arrived at the heart of stars, a celestial forge bathed in raw cosmic power. It pulsed rhythmically, as if alive, its glow casting intricate light upon their faces. The night sky above shimmered with nascent constellations, waiting to be reborn. Leora lifted the starborn amulet, attempting to recharge it with the forge's energy. Yet it resisted, its glow flickering uncertainly, signaling that mere power was insufficient. The amulet demanded sacrifice, a deeper offering beyond strength. Mara appeared, her form shifting between shadow and light, proposing an uneasy alliance. She offered a choice: to unite their powers and restore balance or surrender everything to the engulfing darkness. The air thickened with tension, stars flickering like hesitant witnesses. Torn by the weight of the decision, Leora's mind drifted to memories of her village and the faces of loved ones. Their safety and the fate of countless realms hung in the balance, reflected in the gleaming night sky. Her heart surged with determination amidst the swirling emotions. Resolutely, Leora extended her hand toward Mara, the amulet bursting into unwavering brilliant light. The glow intertwined with Mara's shadow, hinting at a fragile unity forming beneath the cosmic tapestry. The shifting atmosphere held its breath as destiny unfolded. Mara's shadow dissolved, revealing her true radiant form, a star guardian broken by pain but yearning for redemption. Her violet glowing eyes softened, the weight of darkness lifting as light embraced her once more. The celestial symbols around them shimmered in acknowledgement. Together, their combined light surged through the amulet, feeding it with renewed energy that reignited the cosmos above. Stars blazed back into the sky with vibrant intensity, weaving new constellations that told a story of unity. The realms shifted in harmony, their edges softly blending. The night sky burst into brilliance, stars blazing across the heavens in radiant patterns visible from every world. The celestial tapestry shimmered with newfound life, a testament to restored balance and hope. Glowing runes danced amidst the stars, a silent song of renewal. The realms intertwined, blending celestial and earthly energies into a harmonious symphony. Celestial stars aligned with earthly elements, their union signaling an era of peace and connection. The subtle atmospheric shifts enveloped Leora, Kalen, and Mara alike. Kalen's flame reignited with a steady, powerful glow, stronger than before his wound. His bronze skin shimmered under the celestial light, reflecting the new harmony within him. Together, they embodied the reforged bond between realms and guardianship. Leora vowed to protect both realms, her silver pendant glowing softly as their destinies merged. Her gaze held firm commitment as the celestial forces swirled around them. The burden and honor of their journey settled like a star's steady light within her. The trio stood at the threshold between worlds, witnessing the dawn of a renewed era unfold in the skies above. The realms shimmered, the shifting atmosphere alive with promise and fragile equilibrium. Stars traced new paths as the night embraced the first light of hope. Back in the village, the night sky exploded into radiant starlight, illuminating faces turned upward with wonder. Hearts filled with hope as the celestial tapestry told the story of salvation. The silver pendant on Leora's neck glowed faintly, a beacon to all. Leora's pendant pulsed softly, a glowing reminder of their perilous journey and the bonds forged through light and shadow. Its steady radiance mirrored the harmony now restored between the realms. The stars above twinkled as if acknowledging the promise it represented. Mara, restored and radiant, silently watched over the realms once more as a vigilant guardian. Her violet eyes held quiet strength beneath the night sky adorned with new constellations. The shifting realms settled into balanced serenity, embraced by her newfound purpose. Kaelin trained new protectors beneath the celestial glow, sharing the wisdom of harmony born from trials. Flames danced steady on their skin, reflecting the unity of earth and starborn power. The village thrived under the careful watch of its guardians. Villagers gathered beneath the glowing celestial tapestry, retelling the tale that had saved their world. Stars shimmered overhead, guiding stories woven with light, shadow, and sacrifice. The air held the lingering magic of a starborn legacy, alive in every heart. Beneath the vast expanse of the starlit sky, Leora sat in quiet contemplation, the celestial stars twinkling like distant whispers weaving through the night. Faint glowing runes shimmered on her silver pendant as she felt the subtle pull of realms beyond, calling her with gentle urgency. In this stillness, Leora realized how much the journey had altered her essence. She was no longer just a guardian, but a vital bridge uniting the heavens above with the world below. Her heart carried the weight and wonder of this newfound destiny, a living link between stars and earth. A soft, celestial glow wove through her silver hair, casting ripples of shimmering light around her, a radiant symbol of the role she was now destined to play. The strands seemed alive, echoing the delicate harmony of the shifting realms she had come to understand. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying with it the faintest song of a distant star, an ethereal melody full of promise and adventure. It whispered of journeys still to come, horizons yet to be explored beyond the veil of the present night. With renewed purpose, Leora climbed the gentle hill overlooking her village, the patchwork of rooftops resting quietly beneath a blanket of twinkling stars. The night sky stretched endlessly above, rich and alive, echoing the quiet resilience of the world she protected. From the shadows emerged Kaelin, his flame-red hair catching the starlight as he approached with a warm, assured smile. Together, their presence spoke of shared strength and unspoken readiness to face whatever destiny awaited. Silently, Mara appeared beside them, her dark robes merging with the night, eyes glowing violet with a newfound peace. Her presence, once shadowed by mystery, now stood as a testament to redemption and the fragile unity forged through trials. Together, the three raised the starborn amulet skyward, its radiant light pulsing in sync with the heartbeat of the cosmos. The glow danced upon their faces, weaving their fates with the eternal rhythm of the universe around them. The night sky responded in kind, swirling with renewed brilliance as the celestial stars painted a living canvas of hope, memory, and endless possibility. It shimmered with the luminous rune's gentle glow, reflecting the harmony born from their combined strength. As dawn's first light brushed the horizon, Leora, Kaelin, and Mara stood united beneath the fading stars, guardians of a world reborn under the veil of the starborn. In this new era, their bond shone brighter than ever, a promise that the realms would forever remain intertwined in balance and light. The raft cracked beneath Mia's hands, as waves threatened to swallow the last of her hope. Struggling against the storm, she spotted a flicker of light, faint but real, an island's glow in the distance. As dawn broke, jagged cliffs emerged, wrapped in thick vines and ancient shadows. Mia's boots hit soil rich, with mystery and forgotten stories hidden beneath moss and time. Ahead, a path carved from stone led deep into the jungle's heart, calling her forward with silent promise. Branches parted to reveal ruins entwined with nature, whispering secrets only the brave could hear. Suddenly, a shriek pierced the air. A wild creature bounded from the underbrush, eyes glinting like embers. Heart pounding, Mia remembered her grandfather's words. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but moving through it. Breathing steady, she stepped forward slowly, speaking calmly to the creature, earning a cautious truce. Deeper into the temple, carvings told of a guardian and a crystal with the power to heal or destroy. Mia's fingers traced the symbols, and the ground shuddered beneath her. The temple was waking. With quick reflexes, she dodged collapsing pillars and rushing water that threatened to trap her forever. In the temple's core, a chamber glowed with ethereal light, the crystal pulsing like a heartbeat. "This is it," Mia whispered, eyes fixed on the glowing prize that could save her village. As she reached out, the guardian emerged, not a creature of flesh, but light and shadow intertwined. It spoke without words, a voice felt in the soul. Balance must be kept. What you take, you must give. Mia nodded, understanding that power came with responsibility beyond her own desire. She placed the crystal on the ancient altar, offering her own courage and hope in exchange. A wave of warmth spread through her, mingling with the island's song, sealing their pact forever. Stepping back onto her raft, Mia looked toward home, the horizon bright with promise and new beginnings. Jack slipped into the dimly lit room, the hum of old electronics filling the air. On the battered radio, a faint, irregular static crackled with an eerie pattern. He adjusted the dial, eyes narrowing as the static gave way to a whispered message. "Help me," a chilling voice beckoned, barely audible beneath the noise. Jack's heart skipped. This was no ordinary interference. He traced the voice's origin to an abandoned bunker on the outskirts of town. Against better judgment, he grabbed his coat and headed out into the biting wind. The bunker's door groaned open, revealing decades of dust and darkness inside. A faint light flickered deep within, pulsing in sync with the haunting message. Step by cautious step, Jack descended into the depths, every shadow a threat. Suddenly, the whisper came again, clearer. "Find the truth before it's too late." He found an old journal, yellowed pages filled with frantic notes and diagrams. The journal spoke of a secret experiment gone wrong, trapping a scientist's consciousness in the radio waves. The static pulsed, now a rhythmic beat, guiding Jack to a hidden panel. With trembling fingers, he flipped a switch, and the room flooded with pale light. A holographic figure shimmered into view, the scientist, desperate and trapped in limbo. "Thank you," the figure whispered, relief washing over his ethereal form. Jack promised to keep the secret safe and seek help to bring him back. As he exited, the radio's static faded forever, silence reclaiming the night. Outside, the first rays of dawn cracked the horizon, signaling a new beginning for all involved. Leela awoke as golden sunlight streamed through her bedroom window, casting warm light that made her auburn hair catch the glow beautifully. The soft rustle of falling leaves outside whispered promises of the day ahead. Jasper, her cheerful tabby cat with a white patch on his chest, circled Leela's feet, purring softly to greet the morning. His playful energy lifted her spirits as she dressed in her favorite earth-toned clothes. Outside, Bramblewood Village stretched before her, bathed in warm autumn colors that painted the trees and cobblestone streets. Fallen leaves created a vibrant carpet, crackling softly under the footsteps of the few early risers. Leela stepped into the crisp mountain air, gripping her small satchel and the carved wooden locket she always wore close to her heart. The cool breeze teased the edges of her clothes as she set off toward the village square. She soon met Mr. Thornberry, the kind elderly gardener in his green tweed vest, who smiled under his thick gray beard as he tended to his plants. He offered her a basket filled with freshly picked apples, their red skins shining like jewels among the leaves. Jasper, unable to resist the lively garden, darted between plants chasing a fluttering leaf, his white chest patch flashing like a beacon. Mr. Thornberry chuckled warmly, watching the cat's antics with gentle eyes. Leela's sharp gaze caught a faint glimmer beneath a pile of colorful leaves near the old stone well in the village square. Her curiosity piqued. She knelt down to investigate, brushing the leaves aside carefully. Beneath the rust-colored leaves lay a small, ornately carved box, sealed tight with a rusty clasp that hinted at long-forgotten secrets. Her fingers trembled slightly as she lifted it into the light, the woodwork intricate and inviting. Opening the box, she found an aged map of the surrounding forest, its edges yellowed with time and marked by strange symbols she didn't recognize. The map seemed to pulse with quiet mystery, promising an adventure beyond the known paths. Mr. Thornberry appeared beside her, his eyes reflecting concern and wisdom beneath his gray brows. He warned gently that the forest held old secrets and forgotten paths that could both enchant and deceive. With determination bright in her eyes, Leela decided to follow the map, Jasper trotting faithfully beside her, his tail flicking in eagerness. She tightened her grip on the wooden locket as a talisman for courage. From a nearby oak tree, Willow the wise old owl with striking amber eyes watched the pair silently, her gaze steady and glowing faintly in the evening light. The glowing lantern in Leela's satchel cast a soft shimmer beneath the ancient branches. As dusk settled over Bramblewood, Leela prepared her lantern, its warm glow contrasting with the growing shadows of the forest edge. She took a deep breath and stepped into the woodland, the crunch of leaves accompanying her every move. The forest shadows deepened thickly, and soft whispers of rustling leaves seemed to follow Leela's footsteps, wrapping the path in eerie sound. A chill prickled her skin as the golden light diminished, replaced by twilight's embrace. Suddenly, a path on the map led them to a hidden glen, but an unexpected fog began to rise, swirling thick and white, obscuring the way forward. The familiar path vanished, replaced with uncertainty and mystery that chilled Leela's heart. Determined, Leela pushed through the mist, relying on Jasper's keen instincts and the steady glow of her lantern to light a narrow way. Her breath came steady as she advanced into the unknown, every sense alert to the forest's shifting moods. Deep within the fog, Leela discovered an ancient stone archway, its surface thick with ivy, matching one of the symbols mapped earlier. The weathered carvings whispered of stories and secrets long buried beneath time and nature's embrace. A sudden chill swept through the clearing as Willow hooted softly from above, her call a solemn signal of caution. The flicker of the lantern cast shadows that danced like ghosts, urging Leela to be vigilant. Crossing beneath the archway, Leela found herself in a clearing where a shimmering pond lay still, its surface reflecting the dimming sky with quiet majesty. The air was thick with the scent of moss and the deep, ancient pulse of the forest. The wooden locket she carried against her chest began to warm gently, radiating a comforting heat like a silent guide. Leela felt a connection deep within, as if the forest itself acknowledged her presence. Jasper pawed excitedly at a rippling spot in the pond's glassy surface, revealing a submerged wooden box that stirred beneath the water. Heart pounding, Leela carefully reached in to retrieve the box, its wood matching the crafted motifs they had seen throughout their journey. Inside the box, she found a faded letter, its delicate script hinting at a long-lost family connection to Bramblewood. The words spoke of love, loss, and secrets entwined with the very roots of the village's history. As she read, shadows flickered at the edge of the clearing, and a gentle voice seemed to echo softly through the trees, carrying whispers of the past. Leela's senses sharpened, caught between the natural and the spectral. The fog thickened once more, wrapping the clearing in a dense, otherworldly veil. Leela's heart fluttered with a mixture of fear and excitement, tethered to the mystery that pulled her deeper into the forest's secret heart. Following the letter's cryptic clues, Leela navigated carefully through twisted roots and fallen branches, her path illuminated by the steady glow of her lantern and Jasper's nimble steps. Together, they moved forward into what felt like another time, where every shadow promised a new discovery. As Leela wandered deeper into the twilight woods, she stumbled upon a carved wooden statue standing solemnly among the fallen leaves. Its intricate features resembled a guardian of the forest, both majestic and mysterious. In the soft glow of her lantern, the statue's eyes seemed to glint with an otherworldly shimmer, hinting at a hidden magic woven into the grain of the wood. The air around it grew still, as if the forest itself held its breath. Her heart raced suddenly when she heard footsteps crunching softly through the fog, breaking the silence of the evening. Leela turned swiftly, alert for whatever or whoever was approaching. Emerging from the mist was Mr. Thornberry, dressed in his familiar green tweed vest, his kind eyes twinkling beneath his thick gray beard. He confessed that he had quietly watched over the forest's secrets for decades, waiting for the right moment. With a warm smile, Mr. Thornberry began sharing tales of Bramblewood's forgotten past, emphasizing the delicate balance of protecting the village's heritage. Together, their voices mingled with the rustling autumn leaves, weaving a tapestry of history and hope. Side by side, they studied the map anew, their fingers tracing the faded lines until a path emerged, leading to an ancient tree marked by a symbol matching Leela's wooden locket. A newfound purpose sparked within her, fueling their onward journey. As they walked beneath the canopy, Jasper's keen eyes caught a subtle trail of glowing leaves scattered gently along the forest floor. The luminous path lit their way, casting dancing shadows among the towering trunks. They soon arrived at the ancient tree, its bark deeply engraved with runes identical to those etched onto both the box and Leela's cherished locket. The tree seemed alive, its presence commanding and timeless. Carefully, Leela placed the wooden box into a hollow in the tree's trunk. Immediately, a soft golden light pulsed from within, illuminating the runes and sending a warm glow into the surrounding woods. In response to the light, the dense fog that had lingered throughout the forest began to lift, unveiling a breathtaking vista beyond the trees. The landscape stretched out like a hidden treasure waiting to be rediscovered. Without warning, Willow swooped down silently from above, her striking amber eyes meeting Leela's before she gently dropped a small key into her open hand. Then, with a flutter, the wise owl vanished back into the twilight. Leela's fingers trembled slightly as she found the key perfectly fit a hidden compartment in the wooden box. Opening, it revealed an old photograph, yellowed with time yet filled with smiling faces beneath the very same ancient tree. The photograph showed ancestors of Leela gathered together during an autumn festival, their joy captured in the golden light of the past. It was a poignant glimpse into a lineage deeply rooted in Bramblewood's traditions. A gentle warmth spread through Leela's chest, a quiet acknowledgement of her connection to this history and the forest's enduring spirit. She felt the weight and wonder of legacy settle within her heart. Suddenly, distant sounds, soft music and laughter, echoed through the forest, as if carried on the breeze from another time. The melody stirred memories of celebrations long past, filling the night with a renewed sense of magic. Mr. Thornberry explained that once a year, the village held a festival celebrating the forest's magic every autumn, a cherished tradition now forgotten by many. The stories he shared painted vivid pictures of joy, community, and reverence for nature's gifts. Inspired by these revelations, Leela felt a newfound sense of purpose burgeoning within her, to revive the festival and ensure the spirit of Bramblewood lived on. Her resolve was as steady as the glowing lanterns surrounding them. Together, they began gathering offerings from the forest floor, fallen leaves, pine cones, and bright berries, each piece a token of nature's bounty and part of the celebration to come. Their hands moved with joyful intent, crafting the foundation of a new tradition. Returning to the village, Leela and Mr. Thornberry excitedly shared their discoveries with the townsfolk. Sparked by their enthusiasm, a wave of curiosity and anticipation blossomed among the community. Villagers eagerly began crafting decorations and lanterns inspired by the forest's beauty and the ancient symbols rediscovered. The air buzzed with creative energy, and the soft glow of lantern light promised a festival unlike any other. Leela took charge of organizing the festival's layout, using the glowing leaves found by Jasper to guide visitors along winding village paths. The illuminated trail promised to lead everyone safely through the magical evening. Meanwhile, Jasper darted playfully between the lantern-lit trees, chasing children's laughter and weaving joy through the gathering crowds. His cheerful antics brought smiles and warmth to the crisp autumn night. From her high perch, Willow watched quietly over the village, her striking amber eyes reflecting every glowing lantern below. Her presence was a comforting emblem of wisdom and protection throughout the festivities. The festival officially began with music and laughter echoing through the crisp air, mingling with the warm aromas of spiced apple cider. The village came alive, wrapped in the enchantment of the moment and the promise of a cherished tradition renewed. Leela donned her earth-toned dress, the carved wooden locket resting close to her heart and shining softly under the lantern light. Surrounded by the vibrant celebration, she felt more connected than ever to her heritage and the magic of Bramblewood. As the festival reached its peak, the ancient tree suddenly glowed with a warm, magical light that bathed the entire village in a soft amber hue. The shimmering glow seemed to pulse in harmony with the falling autumn leaves, as if the tree itself was blessing Bramblewood and its inhabitants. Leela stepped beneath the ancient tree, her earth-toned clothes blending with the surroundings, and felt an overwhelming presence of generations who had celebrated here before her. She closed her eyes briefly, sensing the joyous spirits of ancestors swirling around, celebrating together in the cool autumn air. Around her, the villagers formed a wide circle, their faces lit by glowing lanterns and filled with smiles and stories. They shared memories of the forest's wonders, their voices woven together by the forest's enduring spirit that connected them all across time. Curled contentedly at Leela's feet, Jasper purred softly, his white chest patch gleaming faintly in the lantern light. The peaceful atmosphere around them made his cheerful nature even more evident as he basked in the comforting embrace of the celebration. Mr. Thornberry, wearing his trademark green tweed vest, smiled warmly as he watched Leela, sensing that the time had come. He felt proud to pass on the guardianship of the forest's sacred secrets to her, knowing the tradition would continue in capable hands. High above, Willow watched with striking amber eyes, her soft hoot resonating through the night. The gentle call symbolized the deepening bond between the natural world and the village community, a quiet assurance that harmony would endure. As night deepened, rows of lanterns illuminated the villagers' faces, casting a glow that reflected hope, warmth, and unity. Each handcrafted wooden lantern seemed to hold a small piece of the forest's magic, brightening the darkening sky. Silent amidst the soft murmurs of the crowd, Leela whispered a heartfelt promise to protect Bramblewood's magic and keep its traditions alive forever. Her voice carried a quiet determination as the carved wooden locket hung close to her heart, a symbol of her new role. The festival slowly waned with a final heartfelt song, its notes echoing beneath the stars and through the rustling autumn leaves. The melody wove past the glowing lanterns and into the night, a lasting tribute to the village's enduring spirit. With Jasper trotting happily beside her, Leela walked home beneath the gentle glow of the remaining lanterns. The peaceful future ahead felt illuminated not just by light, but by love, tradition, and the magic of Bramblewood's ever-watchful forest. The rain slashed against the cracked neon sign outside Jack's office, casting flickering shadows on the damp pavement. Inside, Jack Marlowe lit a cigarette, the smoke curling around his face as he scanned the case file he'd been nursing all week. A sudden knock at the door broke the silence. Before he could answer, she slipped in, her heels clicking with purpose. Her name was Evelyn, a dame with secrets buried deep beneath those emerald eyes. "I need your help," she said, voice trembling like delicate glass ready to shatter. Jack studied her, noting the fear that clung to her like a second skin, and the hint of urgency in her plea. She told him about a missing ledger, a document that could topple powerful men and ruin lives. No one else would touch it, but Jack was no stranger to diving into the murky depths where shadows breathed. He agreed, the flicker of former pride lighting his gaze. This was the game he once played, now reluctantly called back. The city at night was a maze of whispers, and every alleyway held a watchful eye. Jack traced the ledger's trail from smoky jazz bars to empty warehouses where danger waited in silence. A brush with a hired gun left Jack nursing wounds, but more determined than ever to see this through. Evelyn reappeared, her facade cracking to reveal a woman cornered by past mistakes and hard choices. Together they plotted their next move, understanding that trust was a currency neither had enough of. The climax came in an abandoned dock, where shadows lengthened and gunfire shattered the night's stillness. Jack moved like a ghost, every step calculated, every breath controlled as he faced those who wanted the ledger, and Evelyn silenced. In the aftermath, the ledger was recovered, its contents exposing the truth beneath layers of lies and corruption. Evelyn vanished as mysteriously as she came, leaving Jack with a silent promise and an empty whiskey glass. Jack stood by the rain-soaked window, smoke spiraling upwards, contemplating the city's endless cycle of deceit and survival. Another night, another secret, he murmured, extinguishing his cigarette and slipping back into the shadows of Marlowe Street. Right when Mark opened his lunchbox, it was empty. "Where did my sandwich go?" he muttered. He peeked under the table, no sandwich. He checked his backpack, also no sandwich. Mark's friend Lily spotted him. "Lost your lunch?" she asked with a grin. "Yep, someone stole my sandwich," Mark declared dramatically, waving an empty wrapper. Determined, they started a serious investigation around the cafeteria. They interrogated the class hamster, who only squeaked back. Then they asked Mr. Brown, the janitor, who shrugged with a chuckle. Next, they surveyed the suspects: Tommy, the cookie thief, Sarah, the sneaky soda sipper, and Jenny, who always had crumbs. Jenny claimed innocence, dusting imaginary crumbs from her sleeves. Tommy looked suspiciously content, licking chocolate off his fingers. Lily found a suspicious trail of lettuce leaves, leading towards the teacher's lounge. Mark followed, whispering, "This is it, the breakthrough." They peeked inside and saw the teacher, Mr. Clark, happily munching on what looked exactly like Mark's sandwich. "Caught red-handed, mister." Clark laughed and said, "I thought someone left this for me." Mark rolled his eyes. "Next time, just ask. As a peace offering, mister." Clark promised to buy Mark a new sandwich every day this week. Mark grinned. "Deal, but only if Tommy shares his cookies too." Lily snorted. "Looks like our investigation turned into a snack party." They all laughed together, the mystery solved and hunger satisfied. And from that day on, Mark's lunches stayed mysteriously untouched, except during snack parties. In the twilight shadows of Eldoria, a flickering light danced atop the ancient tower. Aelina, the young apprentice, raced through the crumbling halls, her heart pounding with urgency. The village below whispered of darkness swallowing the land, but only she knew why. Legends spoke of the Everflare, a mystical flame that kept dusk and despair at bay. Tonight, the Everflare wavered, threatening to wink out forever. Aelina reached the tower, breath catching in her throat as she saw the flame flicker weakly. "If the light dies, so do we," she murmured, recalling the elder's words. Her fingers trembled as she fetched the ancient crystal, said to revive the flame's heart. Placing it gently beside the Everflare, she whispered an incantation passed down through generations. Suddenly, the flame leapt brighter than ever, bathing the tower in golden warmth. A comforting hum filled the air, rippling through the land like a soothing melody. Outside, the villagers lifted their faces toward the glow, hope rekindling in their eyes. Aelina descended, the weight of her quest lifting with each step. "The light lives on," she told the gathered crowd, pride shining brighter than the flame. From that night forward, Eldoria's nights were no longer dark whispers, but stories of courage and magic. Aelina kept watch, her flame never flickering again, a beacon against the shadows. The villagers rebuilt, their fears replaced by faith in the light and its keeper. In every corner of Eldoria, whispers turned to songs, celebrating the last light's triumph. And as dawn stretched its fingers across the land, the darkness stayed at bay, held at bay by one girl's unwavering hope. In the heart of the ancient tower, the Everflare burned eternal, a promise that even the smallest light can conquer the deepest night. In the village of Eldenbrook, a strange glow flickered one cold evening from the heart of the ancient forest. Leora, a curious young girl with eyes like dawn, couldn't resist following the mysterious light that danced between the trees. As she stepped beneath the gnarled branches, the light pulsed brighter, revealing a lantern suspended by a whisper-thin thread. "Who lingers here at twilight?" Leora called softly, her voice part wonder, part caution. The lantern hummed a melody, a soft vibration that wrapped around her like a gentle breeze. Suddenly, a tiny figure stepped out from behind the tree, a sprite no taller than her hand, its wings shimmering with moonlight. "I am Elen, guardian of this enchanted light," the sprite said, voice tinkling like bells. "This lantern holds the last whispers of forgotten dreams, fading from the world as time passes." Leora listened, heart tightening, as Elen explained that without dreams, hope would one day vanish from Eldenbrook. "But how can we keep dreams alive?" Leora asked, longing to help. Elen smiled. "By sharing stories, lighting fires of imagination in every soul. The lantern feeds on the spark of belief." Determined, Leora gathered the villagers, urging them to tell tales and remember hopes, bright and bold. Night after night, the village square filled with laughter and stories, the lantern glowing ever stronger. The ancient forest seemed to breathe again, its shadows less ominous, its secrets weaving into the fabric of their lives. One evening, Elen whispered, "The light is growing, your stories have rekindled the world's magic." Leora nodded, her own heart alight with the ember of every dream shared. As dawn painted the sky, the lantern lifted from the thread, soaring above the treetops like a tiny sun. "Farewell, dear friend," Leora said, tears glistening. "Carry our dreams wherever you go." Elen winked and disappeared into the morning haze, the glow fading gently, but never gone. And from that day onward, Eldenbrook kept a lantern burning in every window, a beacon for dreams, whispered and cherished forevermore. Maria hurried out the door, her hands full of groceries, and her mind on the clock ticking down to the town's annual garden contest. As she reached her front gate, she fumbled in her pocket. No keys. "Not now," she muttered, patting every pocket again, but it was no use. Just then old Mrs. Fleming from next door appeared, her eyes twinkling behind her glasses. "Locked out, dear. Happens to the best of us." she said kindly, pulling a small, ornate key from her knitting basket. Curious, Maria accepted the key and tried it on her gate. The lock clicked open effortlessly. "I found this in the garden shed last summer, Mrs. Fleming explained. "I was saving it for you." Relieved and intrigued, Maria stepped inside. The garden looked untouched but vibrant in the warm afternoon light. She noticed something new: a patch of wildflowers she hadn't planted, blooming in wild, joyful colors. "Looks like someone else has been tending to your garden while you were occupied, Mrs. Fleming said with a smile. Maria knelt to examine the flowers, a note tucked among the petals catching her eye. It read, "For the one who loves the earth, sometimes help comes in unexpected ways." Moved, Maria looked up to see Mrs. Fleming waving, already heading to her own porch to knit nearer the window. With the key still warm in her palm, Maria tended the wildflowers, feeling a sudden, gentle connection to her neighbor and the earth. Together, though apart, they had tended the garden with love and hope. By the evening, Maria had prepared a small bouquet from the garden's new corners, wrapping it with care. She walked over to Mrs. Fleming's house and knocked gently, bouquet in hand. Mrs. Fleming opened the door, her face lighting up brighter than any flower Maria could pick. "Thank you," Maria said softly, "for the key, the flowers, and the kindness." Mrs. Fleming nodded. "And thank you for keeping our garden growing. Sometimes, it's the little things that bloom into the most beautiful stories." In the heart of the Whispering Woods, an ancient lantern hung from a silver branch, glowing faintly. Ilara, a young wanderer with curious eyes, discovered the lantern while chasing fireflies one twilight. She reached out, her fingers brushing the cool metal, and suddenly the forest around her shifted. Trees whispered secrets, and the air shimmered with magic that hadn't stirred in centuries. A soft voice echoed, "Guardian of light, your time has come to awaken Eldara's flame." Ilara's heart raced. She had heard the legends. The forest's light was the soul of an ancient kingdom. The lantern's glow pulsed, guiding her towards a hidden glade bathed in moonlight. There, a stone altar awaited, carved with runes that matched the ones on the lantern. Ilara placed the lantern upon the altar. Light burst forth like dawn breaking over the horizon. From the blaze, a delicate figure emerged, Leora, the last spirit of Eldara. "For centuries I waited," Leora whispered. "Thanks to you, the light returns to our realm." Ilara watched, mesmerized, as the forest transformed, darkness retreating, colors deepening. "Why me?" Ilara asked, her voice barely a breath. Leora smiled gently. "Because your heart holds the courage and kindness the forest needs." Together, they walked through the woods, spreading light that banished shadows. The fireflies returned, now radiating brighter than before, dancing in celebration. Ilara felt a warmth she'd never known, a connection to something greater than herself. "The forest is alive because of you," Leora said, fading into the glowing canopy. As dawn broke, Ilara stood alone, but illuminated by the lantern's steady light. She whispered, "I'll guard this light, so Eldara's magic never fades again." Isla sat hunched over the ancient map, candlelight flickering across her face as her green eyes mirrored the vibrant blue glow of the small crystal in her hand. Every line and symbol held secrets she was desperate to unravel before darkness could claim more ground. The heavy wooden door creaked open, and Eldrick entered, clutching an old scroll marked with the ancient tree symbol. His voice carried urgency as he warned Isla to prepare, for the ominous darkening was no mere threat. It was a looming inevitability. Outside the quiet library, Kalen stood resolute, his dark braided hair shifting in the breeze as his sharp gaze swept the horizon. Dark clouds, unnatural and heavy, creeped forward, signaling the peril steadily approaching their village. The village square hummed with restless whispers, faces etched with fear as rumors of the encroaching darkness spread like wildfire. The once vibrant heart of their community now pulsed with unease and dread. Isla's fingers brushed against the lumina crystal, which flickered weakly in response, its glow resembling a heartbeat struggling against an unseen force. Though cryptic, the pulse carried a message she could almost, but not quite comprehend. Eldrick leaned close, his spectacles catching the dim light as he recited the legend of the crystals of Valora. "These ancient stones," he explained, "once maintained the fragile balance between light and darkness, a balance now on the verge of shattering." Together, Isla and Eldrick pored over the map, tracing a jagged route toward the lost crystal caverns rumored to lie hidden beyond the towering mountains. Their fingers pressed into worn parchment, mapping hope amid despair. Kalen adjusted the straps of his armor with practiced precision, his scarred face stoic yet tense. Each click and pull was a silent vow to protect, as he braced for the treacherous journey ahead. As night draped the land,